I know, understand. There are only few words I learned to say, but I don't care, I don't care. Above is the sky and below is the ground. My heart is here. I had a reason to cry. I had a reason to be angry. But I don't care, I don't care. The hourglass does not turn upside down. On its own, I'm looking ahead. It will work out. Just go with what I feel. It will work out. If only I could keep They say it's all about gold and future. I'm not that laughing on my life yet, but I don't care, I don't care. Sometimes I don't think so. Yes, I know. That's why I never stop. What will be. The hourglass does not turn upside down on its own. The matter now, it will work out. Just go
Buenas a todos.
¿Y cómo están, chicos? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo tranco? ¿Todo legal? Y aquí estoy, pues ya me agarraron ya para la hora, es hora del nanay. Pero chicos, ¿cómo han estado? ¿Cómo lo han pasado? Espero que haya sido todo de su agrado este día, ya terminando la semana y terminando el mes también. Ojo, ojo, cuidado. Y, y nada, pues, o sea, vamos a hablar en un comienzo vamos a hablar de lo que vivimos hoy día en la mañana en el directo, o sea, lo que fue el final de la odisea, odisea titánica de entre Kratos y Atreus en God of War Ragnarok. Y sinceramente le dije, estaba hablando con la Sandy y le dije, oye, ¿sabes qué? Me encantaría pasar porque quiero ver cómo hicieron esto, loco. O sea, cómo lo hicieron con la captura de movimiento, o sea, cosas más de cortecito técnico podrían ser. Pero no... ¿Cómo se llama? Déjenme encontrar espérate, este no era. Sí, este me acuerdo que no era. Era todo menos lo que andaba buscando. Eh, eh, eh. Acá está. Lo encontré. Ya está. Así que, cabros, lo que para mí fue una experiencia total, ya estarán claros lo que la vivieron conmigo en la mañana. Eh, hubo de todo, hubo lágrimas, hubo risas, hubo momentos épicos a cagar. No, fue extraordinario y como vuelvo a repetir, o sea, jugar este juego fue más que terminar un juego, ¿cachai? Fue como The Last of Us. No es lo mismo ver el video que jugarlo, créanme, no es lo mismo. No solamente porque no puedes jugarlo, obviamente, porque parte de la experiencia es que el juego juega contigo, psicológicamente hablando. O sea, Odín es tan jodidamente manipulador que te manipula a ti en el juego y a ti mismo te hace dudar. Y lo logra perfectamente. O sea, después logramos... Ah, todo esto, gracias. Tengo que dar altísimo follow es Killer. Gracias por ese altísimo follow que fue hoy día, no sé a qué hora fue, pero nuestro Nicolas Cage, no sé por qué no se activa, weón. Nuestro Nick Cage ahí que nos da las notificaciones, no hay caso que se active. Pero... Pero ¿cuánto se llama este? No, fue toda una aventura, fue entretenido. Ahora, antes de completarlo ahí, tengo que completar todo lo que más se pueda. Y ya vamos a estar empezando con otro juego, pero por mientras, vamos a ver el documental de cómo se hizo God of War Ragnarok. Porque yo en lo personal quedé rayando con el juego. Personajes increíbles, mapas increíbles, efectos increíbles. No tanto por lo gráfico, porque igual podrían haberme contado la misma historia con monitos de palo. Pero y hubiese dado lo mismo porque la historia está y los personajes están tan bien guionizados y está todo tan bien estructurado que es una buena historia. O sea, no. A ver, niéguemelo. ¿Cachai? Ya seas fanático de Xbox, ya seas fanático de Sony, ya seas fanático de lo que seas, tienes que reconocer que por lo menos es una buena historia. ¿Cachai? Las peleas están entretenidas, ¿cachai? Puta, el sistema de progresión es más ameno. Lo único sí, el único detalle que yo podría como ponerle, y estoy hablando así como de ponerle un detalle, porque en realidad como que para mí es redondito. Pero sería, ponte tú, el sistema de cambios de armas. Por ejemplo, eso era complejo porque de repente yo quería sacar el hacha y era, no es este otro. O de repente guardaba el hacha y sacaba la lanza. ¿Cachai? Entonces, no sé, eran como detalles estúpidos, pero es parte de la experiencia también. ¿Cierto, aquí? Y el final, que no sé, con la Sandy estuvimos ahí especulando, ¿cachai? De qué podría pasar, qué podría ser, qué no. Yo por lo menos pasé así, pero voleo cualquier tipo de spoiler. Yo lo que sí escuchaba la música. Porque todo lo típico que uno se va a duchar y pone música, yo ponía música así como ya, God of War. Y iba poniendo música de repente que iba encontrando buena a medida que iba haciendo los directos con ustedes. Entonces, porque iba también avanzando el juego. Si la historia la pasamos juntos todos. ¿Cachai? Yo solamente la jugué, pero en realidad estuvimos todos ahí. Y todos queríamos la cabeza de Odín, po, weón. Pero, pero bueno, se logró. Sobrevivimos Lucky, cuidado. ¿Vas a ir al sofá o te vas a quedar acá? ¿Duda? ¿Sí? ¿Te quedas acá? Hasta el mismo Loki estuvo participando también de los directos. Pero bueno, no les voy a dar más la cacha, así que vamos a ver el video de el making of de God of War Ragnarok. Gracias a Sandy Papitas que me encontró Gracias, ño. Gracias por haber encontrado Porque yo para variar weas no pillé nada. Y llegó ella y cual Timmy Turner. Así como, acá está. Está completo. Y en castellano y todo. O sea, subtitulado más bien. Así que vamos a ver.
Sandy Papitas. Sai.
Petty. ¿Cómo? ¿No dijo nada? No dijiste. No, la Petty no. ¿O no? A ver. ¿Por qué fue? Un corazón. No, ya. Un corazoncito me habían mandado. Sí.
We're coming off of God of War 2018.
Listo, copyright.
How do you top that? How do you deliver something that players will love maybe just as much as God of War 2018?
Y eso no es broma, po, weón. Tuvo que haber sido titánica esa weón.
The pressure was tremendous.
Sí. Acuérdense que nosotros terminamos el anterior y después seguimos con este. O sea,
My name is Ariel Angelotti, and I am the senior producer for narrative.
My name is Richard Gobert. I'm the story lead for God of War Ragnarok.
I'm Jody Pupsko, and I'm the supervising dialogue designer.
It's my job to shape the story along with our writing team, our narrative director, and game director.
As a producer, it's my job to help build a team to create that content, to own the schedule in realizing that content. I oversee the dialogue production throughout the entire titles. Every line of dialogue that you hear, every human vocalization and effort and grunt, our team touches.
So I'm a man now. Like you?
No. We are not men. We are more than that. The responsibility is far greater.
In the story of God of War 2018, we find Kratos seemingly having turned over a new leaf in the Norse lands. He lives a quiet life hidden in the woods with his wife Faye and their son Atreus. And the story starts with them mourning her death, and we learn that she made a final request before she passed away. She wanted them to spread her ashes from the highest peak in all the 9 realms. He's scared of being a bad father, a bad influence, and as a result, it's made him an absent father. His greatest fear is that he's passed that evil that's inside of him onto his son.
You are too quick to temper. You are rash, insubordinate, and out of control. This will not stand. You will honor your mother and abandon this path you have chosen. It is not too late.
They befriend Freya, who is an exiled Vanir goddess who used to be married to Odin. They meet Mimir, the self-proclaimed smartest man alive, who serves as their guide and their confidant. And they meet the Holdra brothers, Brock and Sindri, who are world-class weaponsmiths who end up their main source of upgrades and equipment. Now, among the enemies they make are the Aesir gods, whose leader is none other than Odin, someone we never meet in God of War 2018, but who casts a very long and dark shadow over the 9 realms.
There are consequences to killing a god!
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
After many adventures, Kratos and Atreus end up fulfilling Mom's wishes, and over the course of that journey, they find out more about each other and about themselves, and finally find a common ground between them. They become the close family unit that Faye hoped that they would become. In God of War Ragnarok, we fast forward a few years, and little Atreus is now a teen, and they're back to hiding out in their home in the woods in Midgard. During the course of the previous game's events, they were forced to kill Odin's grandchildren, Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor. Thor does a lot of the lion's share of Odin's dirty work, and as a consequence, he's a very violent, unstable personality. At the end of the last game, they were also forced to kill Balder, the son of Odin and Freya, and that has its own set of consequences. He was a very powerful chess piece for Odin, one that Odin is incredibly bitter about losing. Freya has vowed vengeance against them for the killing of her son. Kratos and Atreus didn't want to kill him, they were friends with Freya, but Balder tried to kill her in front of them, and Kratos had no other option in the moment but to kill him to save Freya's life, even though it meant losing Freya's friendship.
I will parade your cold body from every corner of every realm and feed your soul to the vilest filth in hell. That is my promise.
He saved your life.
He robbed me of everything. Everything.
His death is also foretold to bring about Fimbulwinter, which is a brutal 3-year winter that is then followed by Ragnarok. It's an apocalyptic war between all the Norse gods, the giants, the dwarves, and the elves, and an army of the dead. They're all destined to fight in a battle that basically ends the world. Kratos is understandably worried about his son and what it means for him.
You get to go on this journey with how Atreus grows into a young adult and how Kratos grows into his next era in his life, and really see kind of the parent that he's striving to be, but the person he's striving to be. I find that tale so incredibly relatable. We had started shooting so incredible.
Si ella fue la que escribió los diálogos de Odín, por favor denle un premio, weón, porque lo odié. Y si alguien te hace odiar un personaje es porque está jodidamente bien escrito, weón.
Incredibly relatable. We had started shooting plenty of content before the pandemic hit. In fact, the week before we all went work from home, we were doing a shoot. I remember being on and off that set, running back to the office and having to talk to studio leadership about what was going down and how this was going to impact us moving forward. And those were trying times. For us, it was a very unique challenge because we had to bring in actors and we had to record them. And so we had to look at different ways of adapting our typical motion capture process and dialogue recording process so we can continue production and continue at the quality that we wanted for our players and our fans. We had some actors stand in for other characters, actors who were already, who were like core to one of the scenes, might just be able to play a background character in another scene, to be able to avoid a situation where too many people were on set on any given day. We avoided compromising the story that we were trying to tell as a result of the pandemic and these limitations that we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed. We still have the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative with how we shot the content. Our actor for Atreus, Sonny, is a teenage boy.
El mismo.
And his voice changed dramatically throughout the several years on this title.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
We had to go in and even out that performance so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was a unique challenge on this one.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
Whether the Norse saga was going to be a trilogy or just 2 games was something we debated a lot. There were obviously pros and cons for either approach. So we waited for Cory Barlog to weigh in, and he did, and he said, let's do it in 2.
Sandy, corazón cagamos, no hay tercero. Lo acaban de confirmar. La historia está cerrada acá. Oye, ¿por qué no la petita está fallando, güey?
Sandy y papitas. Side.
¿Y por qué no me leí el
No. Sandy y papitas. Side.
No.
Pucha XD.
Sí, lo confirmó. Oye, ¿y por qué no leí al Tepsicolón? ¿Qué pasó acá? ¿Petita está fallando? Peti.
Red original.
¿Ah?
Side. Trepsicoloan que ves.
Estamos viendo el documental de God of War. Del Ragnarok, porque lo terminamos hoy día a la mañana. Entonces, ahora estamos viendo el documental de cómo lo hicieron. El making of.
Consequence to that is, how do you wrap up this story in one game and do Ragnarok justice? How do we lead up to that and then have a big moment at the end of the game and wrap up all those loose threads? This game is bigger than what we initially envisioned. There's a lot of important story moments that we needed to cover. There are more characters that we follow the threads of, and ultimately it ends up feeling big and epic because there is a lot there for people to enjoy.
Me gustó cómo terminó por lo menos.
¿Te gustó cómo terminó por lo menos? Sí, por lo menos. O sea, ya si lo dejan en 2... Puta, es que como que te pisotean el sueño al principio. Es como, oh, no, si va a haber, entonces, no, sí, pero no. Y tuvieron que preguntarle al Cory Barlog, pues bueno, así para que cuál César en Roma tenía que hacer así o así. Le dijo, no, que es rara la decisión, como decían ellos, de que fuesen 2, weón.
Sandy y papitas. Side. Me falta la reconciliación con Sindri.
Ah, claro, pues es que eso quedó inconcluso porque Sindri como que se exilió, se fue. Los mandó a toda la cresta, ¿cachai? Pero no sé si habrá que buscar algún tipo de lore o cómics o cosas que continúan con la historia, no sé cómo lo harán.
Very excited for folks to see this final chapter. A lot happens. We put our characters through the ringer, but we also bring them closure and we provide answers to a lot of the questions the first game posed.
Just all of the new combat that we're doing and the new interactions. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this title that I think people are going to have fun with.
We all have our own personal Ragnaroks to deal with, and this story is about how you process that, how you own it, and how you make it a part of yourself and grow from it.
I mean, we set some stuff up at the end of last game. There's going to be some consequences this game. We're going to see how things play out between Freya and Kratos. We're going to see how the evolution of the family relationship continues. You got Brock and Sindri, the dwarves, who are kind of part of your makeshift family now. And there's going to be some other characters that we introduce that maybe going to disrupt the balance a little bit. I can't wait until players get their hands on the game, are able to experience how the story unfolds for themselves.
We have, I think, an incredibly well-rounded game. Very satisfying combat, beautiful and rich environments to explore, outstanding character art, a lush and moving soundtrack and soundscape. It's the work of hundreds of very dedicated artists and they all have their own stories to tell.
Me acabó. Que tiene momentos muy jodidamente épicos, pues weón. Y todo está muy bien llevado, esos son los sistemas de combate, es todo redondo.
From a combat perspective, I always, and I still feel like the meat and potatoes of any God of War game is combat.
Sí, convengamos. Enemy element.
My name is Roberto Clemente. All my friends call me Bert. I'm a senior combat animator here at Sony Santa Monica.
My name is Kim Wynn, and I'm a gameplay animator.
Hi, I'm Sabra, and I'm a senior VFX artist on God of War Ragnarok.
My name is Grace Pan, and I'm a gameplay animator in God of War Ragnarok.
Hi, I'm Stephen O'Hara, GBA, combat designer on God of War. And I create interesting and memorable creatures that players like to attack and defend against.
As an animator, you gave life to characters. You make them move, you give them personalities, you give them weight.
Exacto, el weight, el peso.
My role as a
argumental.
VFX artist is to put the power behind a move. You are in control of fire and earth and water and wind. Whether you are throwing your axe or on the receiving end of an enemy's spell, VFX is what really gives the movement and the danger to every move that a character or enemy makes.
Y lo hizo excelente.
I work really closely with the design team and the tech art team on this project specifically. We actually work a lot with camera, along with the guidance of our great camera team, so I find myself doing fight choreography sometimes.
One of the most challenging parts about being a combat designer isn't the technical implementation of creating a creature, but it's really navigating that line between frustrating and engaging. We want to make something that makes players lean forward and focus and really try hard against an enemy and feel good about overcoming that, but we don't want to make them feel defeated if they can't figure something out.
And then it feels rewarding when you win, not because it was impossible, but because it was fun and engaging.
Porque las peleas son
After
demasiado
last game,
buenas,
we heard the
weón.
community cry out for more mini bosses, bigger creatures, and enemy variety, and this time we really leaned into that. So in
La
God of War
pelea con
Ragnarok,
Thor es
we're
una
gonna
weá
travel
así,
into all 9 realms,
las
and
dos.
each realm is going to have like its own theme of enemies
A la
that are very
mierda.
unique to that space. For example, in Alfheim, we're familiar with the Dark Elves, but this time around we're going to be fighting Light Elves, such as the Light Elf Warrior. One of the key learnings from the last God of War game is we don't have to think about the camera and how close combat is going to feel. We already have that knowledge, so we can build upon the close camera that we have, and we can iterate on enemies, creating more interesting scenarios.
Ah, claro.
In the last game, Atreus was just starting to fight alongside Kratos, and he was learning from the master tactician. So in this game, he's trying to prove himself a little bit more, and we built upon those mechanics with him.
The previous
Yeah.
God of War, Atreus was still a kid, right? So he has a lot of dependency on his father. And for this game, you will see Atreus moving more independently on his own as a companion.
No solo eso,
In regards
sino
to
que
VFX for Kratos, I think what the players really love is the powerfulness of it. When you are playing as Kratos, you really do feel like the God of War. And moving into Ragnarok, we want to really make something bigger, make it stronger, make it more of a spectacle. You want them to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that the Blades of Chaos could get even better, but look at that.
So as Kratos gets more powerful, he's going to have access to newer combos and newer abilities that will increase the combat depth of each weapon. For the Blades, one of the moves that I've really enjoyed from previous God of Wars is the combat grapple, and we're going to be bringing that with a new twist.
I'm very excited for players to try the blade grapple traversal moves. That brings so much more speed into
De
the
hecho.
movement and the dynamic feel to it.
One of the ways we've expanded Kratos combat this time around is we've given more utility and choice to his shield loadout.
sí,
If you
hicieron
are a carry
variedades de
person, you
escudos.
could really go for a shield that gears towards parrying. If you're a big blocker, then you could choose a shield that will really match your playstyle.
Eso ocupaba yo.
One new mechanic or element that I'm really excited about is these
Corazón, ahora es el momento de quejarte de que no pusieron el movimiento que querías XD.
Oh, verdad, po. Pero sabéis que ahí mostraron recién un movimiento que tampoco he visto, no me ha salido. Yo creo que debe ser con la cuestión del nivel. Porque yo quedé como, no me acuerdo si fue nivel 6 o 7. Y ¿cuánto se me estoy cachando que en una de esas, si logro levelearlo más, puede que me desbloqueen ese trucazo. Pero, pero que lata sería así como tener ese truco y no poder ocuparlo contra un enemigo más grande o importante.
Combo finishers. Building up the stun meter this time around is going to lead to different ways to basically decapitate the enemy.
You're going to be able to choose, which weapon you want to have when you kill a guy. Another
Las ejecuciones son brutales.
for Kratos is his new pre-fall attack.
Sí.
You could jump off a ledge, and if there's an enemy below you, you could slam down on him.
Hero landing.
There's such an emphasis on verticality in some of these fights that it's super engaging. And as Kratos, now that you have so much mobility and that you can also take advantage of that verticality, I think it just adds such another interesting layer to a fight.
In God of War Ragnarok, we've enhanced the Kratos and Atreus duo. He's going to initiate a little bit more, be aggressive. He's going to fight alongside you, and sometimes even surprise you with his combo abilities too.
Some of the new expanded companion actions that you'll see Atreus do leverage the fact that he's older now, he's bigger now. And he's different from Kratos, so his magic has a different flavor.
Not only that the fight side by side together, there are also a lot of mini games and player interaction.
Yo, para serles sincero, yo tenía como mis temores de que como que estaba cachando que iba a jugar con Atreus y yo dije, oh puta madre, que no la caguen, weón. Porque dígame si no, a ver, niéguemelo. En la sección, a ver, niéguemelo de Redex. Todos los que jugamos o los que cachan o han visto videos del juego de Spider-Man, puta, el juego de Spider-Man es pero extraordinario, es la cagada. De hecho, es el mejor juego de Spider-Man que se ha hecho. Pero así y todo, díganme si no, el juego perdía ritmo y se ralentizaba mucho cuando salía Miles Morales. Al menos en el primero. Cuando no tenía poderes, o cuando salía Mary Jane, que era, no sé, parecía Metal Gear Solid. Pero perdía mucho ritmo el juego. Entonces acá yo decía, chucha, vamos a jugar con Atreus, weón, y yo decía, que capaz que sea una lata, loco. Y bueno, al contrario, o sea, me encontré con un personaje que es la combinación perfecta entre el Doctor Strange, weón, y Hawkeye. Y lo resolvieron extraordinariamente bien. Todo, cómo se mueve, cómo dispara, la magia que ocupa, cómo está recién aprendiendo a ocuparla, no sé, no, increíble.
Interaction moments, for example, like the puzzle systems and the set pieces, you definitely will see a lot more collaborations between father and son.
Oh, las Valkyrias, weón, puta que para esa pelea igual, weón. Me costó más que la mierda, sobre todo la
There's so
verdecita.
much that goes into building a big set piece. You basically iterate and iterate and iterate, and it takes testing and just seeing what works to really figure out the personality of something. Basically, every department gives it their all to make things really spectacular. There were a lot of different times that I would look back at God of War games just through the ages before 2018. There were so many amazing, huge boss fights and set pieces that it was a huge inspiration for me on my time on this project.
For the old father!
Our design philosophy for creating new and memorable enemies is basically making them a combat puzzle, similar to like chess, and focusing on the chess pieces. Each piece has its own theme and its own use.
You need to be able to see what's happening in an instant and be able to react as the player.
There's a couple of different ways that we go into making an attack very readable for the player. Sometimes we add a signature audio cue, or we'll add the different rings, such as what we did in the last game, that lets you know that this attack is unblockable, you need to dodge it.
There's so many different ways that the effects really helps not just show what an enemy is about to do, but show who the enemy really is.
Everything you design has to be surrounding the essence of the character and a story. It's what makes it believable.
Ese momento cuando choca el hacha Leviatán con el Mjolnir y empiezan a hablar entre ellos y se nota que cada vez va el efecto de sonido va como que en algún minuto la weá va a explotar o va a pasar algo, ¿cachai? Pero es muy bueno, weón.
And memorable in the first place.
I think what I'm most excited about is for players to experience the diversity of enemies that this game has to offer.
Ahí sale el trono
We
congelado.
will be fighting everything from small little creatures to things that will take up the entire screen.
Hoy ese no lo vi.
All of their designs
sí.
run the gamut. I think each one looks so much different from the next one, and each of them have their own play styles and their own little fantasies that go into it. And so I think if you are really into Norse mythology, you'll be very interested to see how Sony Santa Monica has taken some of these creatures and interpreted them for God of War.
Everything that goes into the game, there's emotion behind it and intent behind it, and by the time it gets to you, everything that you've seen that you're going to play and experience has been sweated over, bled over, tested, and is fun to play.
Y logrado excelentemente, weón. Y voy a ver cómo saco ese golpe, la puta madre. Tengo que vengarme del guerrero de los pueblos de los enanos.
And our role is to create the characters that you see in the game. That's everything from the main hero cast you see to the creatures, the gods, and monsters that you come across. The hope is that we get something that feels unique and stands up to the history and legacy of what the God of War franchise has always done. I feel like from the first games, that was a similar approach that they were doing, and that's not always easy.
Same character and
My name is Raf Corsetti. I'm the art director for God of War Ragnarok.
Hi, my name is Marissa Coppert. I am a character technical artist.
Hi, my name is Angela Rico, and I am a senior
Todos
character
máster,
artist
weón.
in God of War Ragnarok.
Hi, I'm Della Longfish, and I am the lead
Todos
of the character
máster,
concept team at Santa Monica Studio.
Come in.
What in all yarns be the happened to him?
As a character technical artist here at SMS, I rig most of the characters and props that you see throughout the world.
As character artists, our job is to create 3D assets based on the beautiful concept art provided to us. We do this by making sure that the
Hermoso.
silhouettes on the models based on the beautiful concept
Mira, pero mira, po, weón. Mira esa weá, hermano, como dice. Pero weón, la cagó. A ver si en una de esas puedo operarme. Para que vean el arte, weón. Ahí se ve mejor, ¿o no? De hecho me voy a sacar, mira. La cagó, weón. La cagó.
provided to us.
Sin
We do
palabras.
this by making sure that the silhouettes on the models and the textures and materials stand out instantaneously. So when you see our characters on the screen, we want you to almost like them immediately or have a connection to them to some extent before even interacting with them.
As art director,
Nada
I
cuando
get
los
to
multan.
collaborate with all the departments in the studio, from narrative to viz dev, because we want to make sure the factions feel correct, all the races belong to where they're supposed to be, like all the realms have very specific characteristics about them to make sure that all fits within the God of War universe.
Sorry, one more thing. Although, these are gifts I'm giving to you, so I shouldn't be sorry and you should be thankful. Anyways, here, please be careful.
In the God of War 2018, we saw Brock and Sindri, and that was the tip of the iceberg of the Huldra. And in God of War Ragnarok, we actually get to go and visit Svartalfheim, where they're from. And a great part of that, too, is we want to make sure that we expand the cast. You know, we've just seen a little bit of what was represented, and that was something that we hadn't seen.
Svartalfheim is a beautiful place. There's a lot of different biomes. You go from wetlands to mountain springs, and took a lot of inspiration from hot springs, from the minerals that you find. A lot of colorful minerals, a lot of resources. So the dwarves being the races that they are, we knew we wanted to play on that as well. So you see their influence on Svartalfheim on every corner.
It's a land where you're going to find a lot of water environments. There's quarries. It's a very industrial city. It's very organized, and you can see all the dwarves putting all the work into creating this great city where they live in.
Knowing that they're blacksmiths, that was kind of reflected within their clothing, and you see that within the houses. In every inch, we want to make sure that both the environments and characters had a cohesiveness that felt like every inch of it felt like it went together and was designed specifically by them. And again, that's something that we haven't seen in some of the other realms and is unique to this characters and their location. And the hope, it all goes together and creates a feeling within a realm that you're excited to see, feels unique, and really creates that sense of wonder where you want to go back.
When designing a character to match the geography around it, first it's definitely dictated by the biz dev team and the narrative team and the story team. They make sure the character is designed for features that fit in with what they need.
When designing the Grims, we took a lot of inspiration from the environment. So we took a lot of inspiration from lizards, creatures that kind of belong to that environment. They have those big claws. There's small critters to the big ones, and really building up that race, making sure they kind of belong and that realm felt lived in and that ecosystem felt
Del sketch al
making sure that it feels natural and believable is a big part that goes into the design elements. So our artist Stephen Oakley pulled a lot from the environment concepts that Luke Berliner and his team were doing and put a lot of those into actually the skin texture, even the bulk and volumes that you see in the characters. So it really does feel like not only do they belong in there, but you're able to see them and they stand out for the combat experiences with the character.
Character design is all about storytelling. In the example of Derling, his design was really tailored to convey his own personality. He's a bookkeeper from Svartalfheim, and because his job demands, he's very organized, he's very rigid, and he's a very play-by-the-rules kind of guy. But then in contrast, you have his friend. So when you see Derling connect with his pet, we see that he's not all just this rigid librarian guy, but that he's got a softer side to him.
I do believe that we're all storytellers, no matter what we do, even in the tech side of things. I mean, we work to make these characters that then tell a story, and we can also kind of put those features and traits on our rigs.
The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok. War is coming.
Svartalfheim did wars, working with different races from different realms, so definitely seeing Ragnarok and the impact of that into the realm, it puts them into this position that's very interesting to see which side they take and things that they're building. So as you go through the level, you find out a lot more about this race and the political situation that is happening while Ragnarok and Fimbulwinter is taking place.
Hey, dwarves! Oh. They're, running away.
One thing that our hope is with the cast of characters within every realm is not that it's just enemies there to kill you. We want to feel believable and that there's a wide world out there, but we want to kind of plant these seeds within any cast of the realm that there's more outside of what you're playing, and we want the fans to feel like they can go back and really visit those areas and want to go explore.
If the geysers and smell here are worse because of Fimbulwinter, maybe the earthquakes are too?
Aye.
Going into Svartalfheim, I'm really excited for players to experience all the new races that live in that realm, how they play very different from anything we had before. There's wildlife, it's something that kind of goes unnoticed, but we took a lot of effort to make the realm feel believable. So there's a lot in Svartalfheim, a lot to explore.
I'm really excited for Svartalfheim. It is a gorgeous realm. After looking through some of the cinematics and playing some cinematics and playing through some of the puzzles, I'm so excited how water plays such a big feature in that realm, and that is so cool.
I'm most excited for fans to finally get to see how the dwarves live. Brock and Sindri were fan favorites in the last game, so I think that all the work that we've put into Svartalfheim is going to make all the other dwarves shine just as bright as the brothers did.
The best part I have is turning on the YouTube and seeing all these call-outs and all the attention to detail that the fans pick up on. That's one thing that we keep in mind when we're designing characters, to make sure we do right by the fans, and knowing that all the work we put in and appreciated. That's not always the case, but our fans just get every little nook and cranny on that, and we love that, and we packed a lot of that in for this new cast, and we hope you guys get the same feeling with God of War Ragnarok.
Ahí yo quedé así como, ya, loco, madre. Lo mismo cuando sale el Big Bang, o sea, la creación.
My favorite part of user experience design is when we get to have a player sit down and play the game and experience it regardless of the barriers they might face. Seeing players just overjoyed at the experience is one of the things that brings absolute joy to my heart. I hope that everything that we do to make accessibility better within the game, that's something that we can bring to as many people as possible. I'm Mila Pavlin, and I'm the lead UX designer on God of War Ragnarok.
My name is Sam Chappelle. I'm the associate UX accessibility designer.
My name is Joseph. I'm a rendering programmer.
Hi, I'm Kate Marlin, senior producer of the gameplay team. My primary job is to make sure that as I'm looking across the game, as features are developed, that designers and programmers and artists up front are asking themselves, am I taking accessibility features into account while I'm designing this? Is there something I can add systemically that will help integrate this feature across the board?
My job is to hook up everything and implement the accessibility features on the rendering side so that the designers are able to implement the features into the game.
Great! I'll head across for a better look.
User experience design allows us to look at accessibility from the user perspective. So we are the ones who are actually going into the game and looking at the different design problems that there are to solve within the game and figuring out ways that players can access that content regardless of anything that they might have a difficulty with because of accessibility concerns.
Accessibility at its core is making sure that we allow folks who want to play a game to be able to access the game and all of its features.
That allows players to have experiences that they might not otherwise be able to. From swinging your axe as Kratos to traversing the realms and experiencing the story, these features make it possible to do these things.
People are no longer limited by their physical capabilities, and they will be able to enjoy the game just like anybody else.
There's a saying in the accessibility community, never about us without us, and we really wanted to make sure that everything that we are doing is with the community and not just about them. So we have to reach out to fans and understand what their needs are when it comes to accessibility concerns, and we have to reach out through consultants and playtesters to understand what things may be hindering someone from being able to complete the game.
It's always the best to be able to communicate with the user and see what they're happy with and what they want improved.
Some of the most inspiring things that I've seen that have made me want to think more about accessibility is seeing the stories that players have and how much it means to them when they're able to sit down with the game for the first time and play more than they ever thought they could.
Boy, you must be better. You must never forget that.
With the last God of War, we ended the game understanding that there were major problems with the way that we were designing for accessibility.
Based on community feedback from the last title, we've incorporated several features into this title to make the experience more accessible.
We talked to them about what they needed in order to play going forward, and we started to prioritize things very early in production. I think that was one of the biggest lessons we learned, is that early production, making sure that we have everything in place at the beginning of the development cycle. If you're trying to bake a blueberry muffin, you don't wait until the end to put the blueberries in. You make sure that it's in the batter. And with accessibility, we needed to make sure that we put those blueberries into the batter at the beginning so that they could bake in and we would have accessibility at the end. By having controller remapping, by having assists for things that seem trivial, we allow people to get past those blockers and experience it in a way that it's intended. The features that I am most excited for players to try out are the combat assists. I think that these are just amazingly fun to use.
In the last title, we had a feature called Recenter on Attack. Every time you'd hit an enemy, the camera would make sure that enemy was centered.
When we're looking at God of War Ragnarok, we've expanded those combat options to allow for recenter on swing, which means that as you swing your axe in combat, you're going to slowly orient towards a different enemy.
This is one of my personal favorite features, because every time you swing the axe or swing the blades, the camera recenters towards the enemy.
This allows players to go into a space, and if you have limited mobility or if you're unable to utilize the look controls, you can still target different enemies even though you're not hitting them.
One of the most important areas of innovation that we have on God of War Ragnarok would be the increased controls access that we've allowed. So, for example, players are now more able to remap the controller and choose from a wider range of presets.
The feature that I'm most excited for players to try is the Collector's Mode. Collector's Mode highlights collectible objects in the game, such as ravens, so that they're much easier for players to find.
I'm excited for players to try various features that we've created, from high contrast mode to traversal assist. auto pickup, and navigation assist.
Navigation assist was one that I particularly am proud of because we went from not being able to have someone navigate through the game at all to having someone be able to navigate using just a navigation assistance ping. So we looked at games like The Last of Us Part 2 and how they were navigating players through their world with low vision play. And we took our own internal compass system and were able to actually allow players to rotate their camera towards the compass and navigate to their next objective.
Other features to look out for would be subtitle customization. So, for example, you can color the subtitles differently from the speaker, and you can even have the speaker name show up or turn that off if you don't like to see that speaker name in front of.
Y aún así aún así me costaba mucho verlos, pero se agradece, porque en el primero, bueno, era una wea así. No, la cagó.
You can set a background for the captions, so when you're seeing the text, if you need more contrast behind the text, that's an option that's added in there. Another cool, exciting feature that we added was directional indicators to our captions and subtitles. So wherever a noise caption is coming from, the arrow will be pointing to it. So if there's a character speaking and you see the subtitles on the screen, there will be an arrow pointing out also where that character is relative to the player's camera.
All these features will enable players to experience the game in different ways and adjust the challenge to their needs.
Some of the things that I found useful are just settings around kind of reducing the amount of inputs I have to do when I don't feel like it's super necessary for me to control that aspect of the game. This one has helped me by having options like traversal assist, which just kind of makes the character vault over things and climb up things automatically, which reduces the strain on my body, so I can just get ready to fight rather than just be spending time like traveling over things.
I think a big misconception people have about accessibility
Ese men como que tiene ganas de morir o soy yo.
To certain people.
It's not about making a game easy. It's not about adding cheats. Accessibility controls are beneficial for everyone. It's beneficial for people with disabilities to be able to better engage with the game, but also open up those menus and see what they can do for you.
People think accessibility means easy mode, and it is absolutely not about easy mode. If someone is unable to use their hand, for example, it doesn't mean that they want a lower difficulty. They just need to be able to set the controls in a way that allows them to use the controls differently.
Es accesibilidad, no facilidad.
Here at my right side, the fact that they had audio panning made me really, really happy because I still can feel vibrations from my left. So I just channeled more of the audio through to my right side, which enabled me to hear everything just kind of better.
Growing up playing games one-handed was very challenging. Early games didn't have all the accessibility features that games like God of War Ragnarok and The Last of Us Part 2 have.
There's a stronger motivation there to be a better developer and a better designer when you know that you are making people's lives better by allowing them to play.
The future of accessibility in video games is very exciting. As we continue to innovate and the conversation grows, the experience just gets better for everyone. My hope is that it will expand beyond our current audience to include everyone.
The more every studio takes in information about what can make accessibility better, the more we can inspire each other and the better we can make all of our games more accessible.
I really have a high vision of making games that are not just accessible in the way that you can just get through them, but that they're accessible in a way that they are enjoyable and create more choice for players. When we look at the way that the industry is turning, we're moving away from this idea of let's just get the player through the game and more into how can we make an accessible game the most enjoyable experience, and how can we integrate these things into our games at a core level so that every player has access to those things.
Exacto.
And as we expand that, I think that we're going to see an industry that is not only more accessible but is more enjoyable overall.
Concuerdo absolutamente. Y así puede llegar a más gente también. No neguemos el asunto de que sigue siendo un negocio, o sea, tiene que vender.
Relationships, especially the ones that carried over 2018, God of War, Kratos realizing that he's part of something. He's part of, God forbid that I say it, a family. And I think that's a great moment for Kratos, because I don't think he ever, in his wildest dreams, ever imagined that he'd be part of anything again. Christopher Judge, and I play Kratos.
Hi, my name is Bruno Velasquez. I'm the animation director on God of War Ragnarok.
Eu sou Ricardo Juarez e sou o dublador do Kratos no Brasil.
أنا هشام الشام. بلعب شخصية كريتوس في النسخة العربي من الإصدار الجديد لGod of War.
クレイトスの声を担当させていただいております三宅健太です。
Hi, my name is Eric Jacobus. I'm the stuntman for Kratos, as well as the stunt coordinator for God of War Ragnarok.
My role as an animation director is really there to assist Chris and the other actors on the style of movement that we want to keep consistent across the characters.
I always think physically bigger, so I try to stand bigger. I try to stand wider. I try to stand more firmly. And every time he moves, I want it to have a sense of purpose, that he's going to do something. Because Kratos, in my mind, doesn't ever do something by happenstance. There's always a definitive objective. So that would give purpose to his movements.
There's a certain amount of chaos with Kratos' combat. And there's a moment, and I always clock it, from about 90 degrees this way to 90 degrees that way. When I do that attack, it's like I throw my entire body into it, and there's a little bit of chaos, and I catch myself at the end. And normally in other characters, that's not allowed, right? You're not allowed to kind of lose it like that. But in that 90-degree window, I'm allowed to lose it, and they like that. And then I pull it right back. And that's kind of like the Kratos brand that, you know, the animators and the director have really helped foster and create with me.
Every direction that we give to our actors or animators is to always keep them consistent, to put themselves into that space of always being a warrior ready for battle.
The animators and the director helped sort of create a language around how Kratos moves. Some of those things include a really fast return to idle so that he always looks like he's in combat, a certain amount of shake when he swings a weapon. You know, there are these little pieces that I'm always thinking of whenever I do movements for Kratos that really help make the character feel like he's in the combat the whole time.
Working with Christopher Judge, who was the voice and also motion capture performer for Kratos, has been one of the best experiences I've had in my career. A lot of the motion that comes through in the cinematics especially really is just
For me, the first time I inhabited the role of Kratos, I was in such splendid physical condition that I actually felt like Kratos. When I saw the rendering, I felt that I was him.
そのクリストファーさんの演技を見ながら声を入れさせていただいたんですが、本当に助けられました。僕は彼の演技がですね、特に彼の目がいつもキラキラと潤んでるんですよ。それがなんかより前回よりもクレイトスになんか人間味みたいな。
Ô Ricardo, eu sou o Kratos, então são muitas horas concentrado ali, entrando no personagem, fazendo com que o personagem realmente tenha uma identificação com o público para que haja.
É o Deus mais grande do mundo.
كريتوس أو تبقى كريتوس في المعركة، إنما في الكابوس، في التعرض للخوف، في الإحساس بقدر من الهزيمة، قلة الحيلة قدام ابنه، اهتزاز صوته قدام ابنه، كل ده صعب قوي إنك تعبر عنه بصوت قوي.
So at the beginning of God of War Ragnarok, Kratos is in a different stage that he was in the previous game. Of course, now he has accepted the passing of his wife. He's accepting his role as a father, but then now his son is seeking a lot more. So Kratos is coming to terms on how do I best raise Atreus and how do I guide him.
We follow you everywhere.
But you don't believe in any of it.
And still I follow. Because all that matters is that you are safe.
But that's not all that matters. Who's keeping you safe?
We are very interested in exploring what it's like to have a relationship with your own child. Even, Chris Judge, him being a father as well, it's always something that comes up on stage, talking about our kids and talking about our relationships with our own families.
Well, some of the things emotionally with Kratos are very readily accessible to me. Being a father, being willing to do whatever it takes to ensure that your children are safe.
التعامل ما بينه وما بين ابنه ده كان اكتر شيء، او المشاهد دي او الجمل اللي بيتكلم فيها مع ابنه كانت بالنسبه لي ممتعه جدا، لان كانت بتعلمني لحد ما عن طريقتي، بكتشف طريقتي انا في التعامل مع ابني.
Até o Kratos conseguiu evoluir. Ele é uma versão melhor de si mesmo. E ele faz tudo pelo Atreus. Tudo, tudo. Ele está preparando o Atreus para o Ragnarok. E para que isso aconteça, ele vai se dedicar ao máximo. Ele vai além do que ele poderia imaginar.
Even though Kratos has a difficulty expressing the way that he feels about Atreus, it's really demonstrated through Kratos' actions that he really cares about him. He would move mountains for him. You know, he literally climbed the highest point to respect the wishes of his wife. That just shows that Kratos really, once he cares for someone, even though he doesn't express it through his words, he does it through his actions.
Kratos no longer pontificates to Atreus. He's no longer speaking to an audience that just listens. He is now having debates with rebuttals. With a young man who possesses his own ideas, his own thoughts, what he perceives to be his own trajectory to get to where he needs to be. The hard part, I think, of Kratos' journey is him learning to listen. And that's what comes with having such black and white views of right and wrong. A lot of times you're not receptive to what someone is telling you about how they feel. And I think that was a huge part of Kratos' growth, was him learning how to listen.
De hecho, tirando para el final, es cuando finalmente entiende que aparte de preparar a Atreus para el Ragnarok, se da cuenta de que Atreus no es como él, o sea, no tiene que... Se da cuenta que Atreus, a diferencia de él, es mucho más corazón, ¿cachai? Él cree en la gente, quiere creer en la gente, ¿cachai? Quiere creer que no todos son malos, aunque Kratos ve siempre en todo una amenaza o un peligro, ¿cachai? Siempre está alerta, porque eso fue lo que vivió desde pequeño. Entonces, excepto Atreus, que, bueno, fue otro desarrollo del personaje, aunque igual fue crudo, pero es un, como decía el mismo Christopher, se me fue el nombre, Christopher, bueno, el que hace de Kratos, bozarrón por lo demás, tiene razón en todo lo que dice de que Kratos, parte del viaje de Kratos es escuchar, pues, bueno, y admitir y admitir los errores, pues, bueno. Si no, acuérdense de la famosa escena de cuando están a punto de irse de Helheim. Y Kratos, cuando abre el portal, luego se queda parado, claro, y empieza todo ese diálogo y le dice, bueno, lo siento, loco. Claro, porque ahí Kratos escucha y se hace consciente de que, puta, bien o mal, pero está tratando de todas las maneras de hacerlo mejor. ¿Cachai? Aunque la haya cagado, pero se disculpa porque la caga en el fondo, es porque de repente se cierra y hace la wea que se le antoje y no, Atreus, ven para acá y vos te quedas acá en la wea, y se pone como súper autoritario, pero es que tampoco podéis restringirlo, es que no sé, debe ser muy complicado, la verdad.
本当にいっぱい対話を重ねるんですね、ゲームの中で。はい。その中ですごく人を受け入れる度量の大きさみたいなのが一段進化したように僕は感じましたね。何かを大きく受け入れる器みたいな、心の器みたいなものが本当に一個進化したんじゃないかなって思ってます。
Hey, don't go forgetting this. What'll get you there?
Another fun part about being on set is just seeing Chris Judge and Sonny Suljic just interact with each other, almost like Kratos and Atreus interact in the game. They become buddies throughout the years, and it's almost like father and son relationship is almost manifested on set the same way.
I met Sonny when he was
Del 1
10.
al 2.
So I've seen all the stages of his development. Now, in Ragnarok, he's a teenager, feeling himself, good-looking young kid, and he had ideas. Like, he actually was able to break down scenes and have his own ideas about them. And I remember the first time it happened, I just stood back like, wow, this is a whole different dude. This isn't, you know, that little kid that had a million distractions. This is a young man who is very intelligent, very thoughtful, because I had gone through it with my children. It was something that I had missed very much as a father, as a man, was seeing this evolution of a human being and seeing them growing into who they are going to be.
Se emociona.
That part of it for me was great. And it was really interesting to me to see that. Not only between Kratos and Atreus, but between Sonny and I.
It has been really interesting to see how the character of Kratos has evolved, especially on the last game, coming from the Greek period over to the Norse era. To see him become a father once again, to see him recognize that there was a lot of things in his past that perhaps he wasn't very proud of, a lot of terrible things that he did, and seeing that almost him getting a second chance at having a family, at raising a child, going through those changes, sort of accepting himself. It always has been really interesting to me.
If I do this...
Fate only binds you if you let it. Do what is necessary, not because it is written.
I'm so excited for people to...
Corazón, ¿cómo era la frase que decía Kratos? O le decían a Kratos que como que tus actos no definen lo que eres, no sé, una cosa así era. O creo que la Freya se lo dice a Kratos, no me acuerdo quién le dice a quién. Y es así como, tus actos no te definen a ti como persona. O tu pasado no te define como la persona que eres ahora, una cosa así era.
Be able to continue this journey called God of War Ragnarok.
Said, tus errores pasados no te definen.
Exacto. Las cagas que, o sea, no definen lo que eres o la persona que eres en el fondo.
My youngest son, who is one of my harshest critics, said, Daddy, I didn't want it to end. Well, neither did I. I missed every day that I wasn't with this collaboration.
Se emociona caleta, porque están todos llorando.
So if you loved God of War 2018, I truly hope that you have a chance to experience Ragnarok. It's gonna blow your socks off.
No, es que es una wea. Para mí, al menos, este juego para mí va a quedar. Para mí queda como uno de mis favoritos. Y no hueveo. Hace mucho que un juego no me producía tantas sensaciones.
Response that feels real. Music can help generate that connection to what you're doing.
De hecho, el soundtrack te enaltece o te puede llegar hasta definir un momento. O lo eleva, literalmente. Como esto, ¿cachai?
My name is Bear McCreary. I am the composer for God of War Ragnarok.
Hello, my name is Sonia Coronado, and my role here in God of War Ragnarok is music production lead.
My name is Kellogg Boynton, and I'm a recording and mixing engineer for the music department here at PlayStation Studios.
Hi, my name is Justin Fields. I'm in the music affairs group and typically handle music contracts and licensing. For God of War Ragnarok, I was invited to compose English language lyrics for the music score.
English.
Composing music for a video game begins in my studio, in my head. I want to come up with themes that will resonate, melodies that gamers will be able to take with them on this journey. From there, it involves a lot of people.
My main goal for this game is to make an interactive music experience for
Said. Me encanta la variedad de gente que trabajó en el juego.
La cagó. Mira, hemos tenido asiáticos, hemos tenido gente de color, hemos tenido gente de varias tendencias sexuales, hemos tenido, weón, de todo, adolescentes, weón, una variedad así, pero increíble, pues, weón. Y aún así quisieron funar este juego, pues, weón, con la cuestión de los animales, que es como, weón, ¡ah! Ahí es cuando la gente, tú te das cuenta que alega por alegar, weón. Que de hecho lo discutimos en algún minuto con la Sandy, porque yo le dije, oye, ¿sabes que están tratando de funar a God of War por la weá de los animales? Y tú me dijiste, me acuerdo automáticamente, ¿ocuparon animales reales? Y yo dije, no, loco, nada. Si de hecho la mayoría de las cosas se grabaron todo en pandemia, así no se podía ni salir, pues, weón. Entonces mucho menos iban a llevar perros amaestrados, ni ponerle trajes, ni nada. Hicieron todo en base, y si llevaron un perro, puta, lo habrán puesto ahí para allá un par de weas y chao, y sacarle la cuestión al tiro. Porque hay leyes, po, weón. Y afuera, a diferencia de este país de mierda, las leyes se respetan, po, weón. ¿Cachai? Entonces, ahí tú cachai que hay entes en internet que yo creo que su headquarters, su guarida así maligna, me tinca que debe ser Twitter. Porque de Twitter como que de Twitter se genera una luz negra que es pura mierda y que se disemina por internet, y es todo yo creo que todo el hate sale de Twitter, weón. Porque de ahí empezó la weá con la cuestión de los animales, po. Y salieron todos a aclarar que no, mira, la weá no es así, no se utilizaron animales, y si se utilizaron fueron archivos, ¿cachai? O cosas así, pero el por qué meterlos al Funaverso porque sí nomás, pues, weón. Es como el Hogwarts Legacy, pero bueno, eso ya es un tema más a profundo. A lo mejor algún día cuando podamos hacer un programa con la Sandy, vamos a hablar de separar la obra del escritor, pues, weón. Y ahí sí que tenemos harto para hablar, pues. Y muy interesante por lo demás el tema, porque tú de repente decís, bueno, hay tremendas obras, y el creador de la obra es un pedazo de mierda en la vida real, pues, bueno. O sea, no es que sea nada pobre ni ninguna cuestión, pero es un gallo así que perseguido por la justicia, así, no, horrible. Y tú veis, por ejemplo, lo que hizo o la obra, y tú decís, puta madre, este weón es genial, pues, weón. No sé, pero es un contraste tan raro, y la gente tratando de funar weas que no. Por ejemplo, mira, yo les voy a hacer un spoiler. Vamos a empezar ahora a jugar Horizon Forbidden West. Para que ustedes sepan, ese juego es una selva completa de animales, pero mecánicos, pero basados en la mayoría en animales reales. ¿Por qué no fueron a huear ese juego, po, weón? ¿Por qué? ¿Porque la protagonista era mujer? No sé, ¿cachai? Pero ¿qué hizo la empresa de Forbidden West? ¿Qué hizo Guerrilla Games? Guerrilla Games, por cada juego que se vendía de Horizon Forbidden West, ellos plantaban un árbol en una reserva. Imagínense cuántos árboles han plantado con la cantidad de ventas que ha tenido ese juego. Y lo vamos a estar jugando o probando hasta donde alcancemos el Forbidden West. Que le eché así como un vistacito y como... Sí, la probé. Tuve que instalarlo y todo, así que así como... está bien. Vamos, seguimos con Ragnarok.
players so they feel really immersed in the world of God of War through music.
My role on the production for the music of God of War was to help oversee the recording sessions, working with our external engineering partners, both over in London and over in Iceland, working with them on mic choice and placement, providing them any details that they may need, as well as being able to mix some of the score.
The music group at PlayStation strives to leave no creative stone unturned, and composing lyrics for the score and translating those to Old Norse was an opportunity for us to lend an air of authenticity that will help bring the players into the realm and world of God of War Ragnarok.
Y que tiene melodías épicas.
I'd recognize that dour expression anywhere.
As a composer and as a fan, I want to go into a sequel and hear something that gives me exactly what I want and exactly what I don't know that I want.
Exacto,
What do I want as a fan?
exacto, sabes que a mí me pasó, concuerdo absolutamente con lo que acaba de decir este weón. Porque, por ejemplo, no sé si ustedes lo notaron, pero yo estaba genuinamente sorprendido y genuinamente alegre con la carrera que hace Atreus en forma de lobo contra la... siempre se me va el nombre, bueno, el nombre nórdico, pero que de hecho la Sandy se lo aprendió. Y ese momento cuando empieza
Side.
Ambrosoli, no sé, chucha madre. Ambroda. ¿Sabes qué? Voy a hacer voy a hacer el consejo que voy a utilizar el consejo que me dijiste para cuando aprendiste idioma, separar las palabras cuando son nombres complicados. Voy a tener que hacerlo con el asgardiano, porque no me sale. Entonces es Ambroda. Suena como broda. Entonces son esos momentos, como dice él, que tú no los esperabas y que son la raja, pues, weón. Y que la música te los enaltece porque es una cuestión que tú sientes. Bueno, es que es una volada muy intensa. O yo me meto mucho en las historias cuando las veo. Yo soy muy inversivo. Yo soy muy de los que... Bueno, soy de la generación del quédate callado, pues, weón. Entonces yo era de los que pescaba el juego y yo me metía en el juego. Yo sufría con... Bueno, a día de hoy, si no vean el directo de la mañana, yo sufro con los personajes, sufro cuando hay una pérdida. De hecho, todavía me da como pena lo de Brock. Y mucha gente dirá, bueno, pero si es un juego nomás, pues, weón. Bueno, y hay gente que le pasa con libros, pues, weón. Hay gente que ha terminado llorando leyendo libros. ¿Por qué? Porque les llega de una forma distinta, pero acá en este caso, en God of War con la música, hay momentos que, claro, como dice él, tú esperas que sean épicos, la música los enaltece y hay momentos que tú ni siquiera te los esperas y son maravillosos, pues, weón. Lo mismo la transmisión de las emociones, ¿cachai? Por ejemplo, el cómo la melancolía de Kratos es apoyada siempre por una tenue música de violín, ¿cachai? Que simboliza toda la melancolía y la tristeza que tiene el personaje encima. Y que en el fondo, como él no llora, que de hecho llora al final, recién se le cae una lágrima al final, pero él siempre está llorando a su esposa, po. Pero ya al final es cuando ya por los Atreus se va a la cresta y sale y lo ve y está con una lágrima, ¿cachai? Pero yo me fui a la mierda, por ejemplo, cuando ponen el soundtrack y cuando Kratos en su máxima expresión de valga la redundancia, de expresividad, cuando le dice Loki se va y Atreus permanece, ahí me fui a la mierda. Me fui a la mierda. Y eso te lo ponen más encima, después se abrazan. Que es una weá que yo me fui a la mierda. De hecho, mira, esto ya es con spoiler, pero ponte tú, déjenme ver si encuentro la imagen exacta. Yo me fui a la mierda +1, weón. cuando vi esa imagen, fue cuático, weón. Fue muy cuático, weón. Vamos a ver si esta imagen, weón. Bueno, yo vi esta weá hoy día en la mañana y me fui a la mierda, weón. Me fui a la mierda, loco. ¿Por qué? Porque el soundtrack más la actuación, es todo un conjunto que te redondea y te lo hace completito, pues, weón. Entonces, no, ese momento para mí es épico, emocional, nivel God of War, pues, weón. Ya, volvamos al documental, que es lo que ustedes quieren ver.
The same thing. I want to hear that same theme again. But what do I need is new information.
Claro.
And a new perspective on that material. I think my initial challenge in facing God of War Ragnarok was in trying to match, ultimately exceed the scope of my score for God of War. When I read the script for Ragnarok, the story was expanding. The roster of characters, the realms, everything was bigger and simultaneously needed to be as emotionally immediate.
You tell me if you're
Ese tema, cuando corre Atreus en forma de lobo.
Probably the biggest challenge for me was coming up with a theme for Atreus, which I didn't do last time. I didn't do last time because the story really didn't need it. I had a theme for his mom, I had a theme for his dad, and the game was about his relationship with those two entities. God of War Ragnarok was different. I needed a theme for Atreus. And I struggled with this one. I went through many drafts.
No, menos mal que quedó ese.
I came across an idea of using the Nordic folk instruments predominantly to be his theme. To pull back on the orchestra.
Como la música de la cantina.
And I got a really small group of strings, just 5 strings. Had them start chugging away. Dun, 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 dun. It was small, tight, like a rock track. And then I brought in a nickel harpa and a Hardinger fiddle. And wrote this theme for them that was quite literally the Kratos theme turned on its head. Instead of bum bum bum, bum bum bum, I just turned it around. Bum bum bum, bum 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 bum. It's telling you twice in a row. Twice in a row it tells you, hey, this is the Kratos theme, but it's backwards. And I pitched it like this. I said,
Me cagó, no había cachado que era al revés.
Kratos' theme has got to be scrappy, it's got to be smaller. He's growing up. We don't want it to be as big and ominous and powerful and slow as the Kratos theme.
¿Se fijan cómo se construye la música alrededor del personaje y de la personalidad de este? Y de cómo está guionizado, él mismo te lo está explicando. Es un adolescente, es impredecible, es impulsivo, la música va y viene, pero nunca me había dado cuenta que era la de Kratos, pero al revés, pues, weón. No había cachado. Y de vuelta otra vez, ¿cachai?
Different. So it's going to be a little smaller.
Pero me encanta.
When I hit play.
El bosque de hierro es otra wea. A la mierda me fui con eso. Yo estaba así. Jugando, pero para la cagada. Bueno, ustedes vieron.
I remember Eric Williams was quiet and Corey was laughing. Corey was like laughing.
Corey
and he looked at me and he said, I love that you think that piece is smaller. And I felt at that point that I had, in a way, overcome the biggest challenge I was going to face. I thought from there, be smooth sailing. Turns out I was wrong about that.
One of the biggest challenges that we overcame is that we had to record this entire score remotely. Obviously, due to the pandemic, we were not allowed to travel for obvious reasons. So we had to be able to figure out how to do this.
Pero que, imagínate que es un culo producir un juego de esta magnitud. Imagínate en pandemia, weón, tuvo que haber sido, pero el titánico. Cabros, ¿me dan permiso para ir a hacerme un tecito, weón? Mira que ya llevamos 1 hora 25, pero ¿saben qué? Hago el voy y vuelvo más rápido en la historia. Y de hecho voy y vuelvo tan rápido que voy a tomar la taza, voy a poner el tema de Ryu y vuelvo. Así que me esperan un cachito y vengo con un tecito, ¿ya? Espérenme y seguimos con el documental de God of War. Vengo. Está hirviendo el hervidor, vaca la redundancia. Así que, pues espérenme tantito. Pues espérenme así tantito. Vamos a cambiar ahí por un segundo, Neko. Yeah! I'm back. Whoa, whoopachia, whoopina, why you feeling? Vamos a poner el mejor tema de la humanidad, weón. Ya. Cabros, seguimos con él. Después de que me fui a buscar mi tecito, continuamos con el documental de God of War Ragnarok. Continuamos.
Remotely with our team in Los Angeles while recording the orchestra over in London and in Iceland.
London.
So being able to kind of pull together as a team and pull this off, especially with the hurdles that we had to work through, it was a huge accomplishment for everyone involved.
And I find that the quality of the implementation, the creative instincts of the team that are actually putting the music into the game are part of what shapes your experience when you play it.
Same. One of my proudest achievements is something that we actually thought early on during this project. We were wondering, is there a way to not cut off melodies in a game that is so interactive? So we really try to carry that vision into this game, and it was really a team effort to make this happen. But we ensured that in all boss fights and in all systemic content, as much as we could, to let no melody be harmed. And I hope all the players get to enjoy that.
Oh, it's really you.
The first day that I met with Corey and Eric to discuss God of War Ragnarok, we spent the vast majority of it talking about Angrboda and Atreus.
Yeah.
Her impact on the story is massive, and making sure that she and Atreus had a relationship
capaz que
that
saca la
works
escena que digo yo,
and
weón.
that the audience bonds with her was a primary focus for me as a composer. In many ways, her theme pushes the boundaries of our score a little bit. I wanted sounds that would be in the same musical realm as these Nordic folk instruments, but I wanted something that was different.
It's this perfect mix of sweetness and innocence combined with the magic aspect of this realm. So the use of dulcimers, for example, to really represent that childlike innocence, but also this flute-like melody that really carries the story of Angrboda.
Argenboga.
Wooden flute comes in, playing her melody. And her melody is closely connected to the Atreus tune. The first 5 notes are the same. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. That's Atreus. Da 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 da. That's Angrboda. Because they're related. Their fates are intertwined.
Here are the English language lyrics for Angrboda's theme, which is titled The Giantess of Ironwood. Mother, mother of wolves, you will endure. You will endure. You are your savior.
Yeah.
Keeper, keeper of souls. The last giantess, mother of wolves, you will endure.
Esa parte, weón. Es que esa weá es maravillosa,
This too
hermano.
is a great example of how we use a few words to accomplish something fairly impactful. The line, you are your savior, in particular, speaks volumes about Angrboda's character arc. The concept of breaking free from one's own fate and taking control of one's own destiny is a common theme across all of the God of War games, and exploring that as it applies to Angrboda was an extremely interesting and exciting opportunity.
I was supposed to fight alongside you? I wouldn't disappear from your damn mural halfway through.
She's lived under the weight of this prophecy her whole life, knowing that she was going to have to help Loki. And a big part of her dramatic evolution comes from what happens after that.
Whoa!
Gotcha!
Thanks.
O sea, el tema de Kratos.
So I think the aspects that I'm most excited for the players to experience are actually the music for each realm.
Hearing how the music and themes elevate the experience.
The way that we've been able to tell a story through music.
Perfect.
We're really excited for players to be able to experience all
Esa,
that.
esa parte es muy buena cuando le regala la flor y le dice, ¿por qué mataste una flor? Que me regala porque no lo ve como un regalo. Es como, ¿por qué mataste una flor? Es un regalo. Pero mataste una flor. Son pequeños detalles, pero...
Everybody on the music team, the sound team, and all of the writers and cast that I interacted with. For all of us, it's a passion project. We're doing this because we love it. And I am so excited for fans to get to hear all the new music and get to go to all 9 realms. I can't wait for fans to pop this game in and be transported away.
Yo no sé si he estado en los 9 reinos. No sé si... Oh, esa pelea es muy buena también. Que era la abuela de la...
Vanaheim is a very large realm, but it was the most ambitious realm I think the studio's ever tackled. We wanted to do so much, and we did so much, and somehow we pulled it off.
No, aquí ese reino es increíble. Encima tienen lo del día, la noche, con la noche muta el bosque entero. No, es una
Hi, my
locura.
name is Aaron Contreras,
Es una
and I
locura.
am a senior environment artist at Santa Monica Studio.
My name is Lena. My role on the
Maestra.
game is a 3D environment artist.
My name is Jeremy War, and I'm a senior staff level designer.
My name is Elizabeth Bright, and I'm a level designer at Santa Monica Studio.
Seca.
Hi, my name is Christopher Lloyd, and I'm the lead visual effects artist.
My name is Carol William.
Hi, my name is Christopher.
Qué bacán llamarte como un famoso. Soy Christopher Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Soy el Doc
I'm the
Brown.
lead visual effects
No.
artist.
My name is Carol
Nada que ver,
Williams.
pero suena igual.
I am the level design producer on
No se escribe igual, pero suena
War
igual.
Ragnarok. As a level design producer, I help create the world that you see in the games. We work very closely with the environment artists, VFX artists, lighters to really bring the world together.
My role as a level designer, I get to create a lot of the really interesting and different gameplay spaces that the player gets to play through. Level designer will create the map already with some very simple environment. Our job is to make it pretty and make it real.
So my role as a visual effects artist, if you made a cake,
Eso.
we would need the frosting. So we add the art on top of other art. For example, Kratos' blades, we do the fire on them. If there's weather, snow, magic, that's all visual effects.
Mira, yo no tenía idea que dentro de los videojuegos estaba la gráfica y los efectos especiales por separado, no tenía idea.
Wow.
O sea, la creación de lo visual.
What?
It is also dangerous.
We didn't really see much of Anaheim in the previous game other than that little window in Freya's house. So what we did was we took that little window and we just really expanded that, and we almost kind of turned that into like multiple different biomes all within one realm. You know, you've got the jungles, you've got the savannas, you've got these ruins, you've got caves, you've got kind of like swampy areas, and they all kind of retain a little bit of that palette from that original window.
We pull a lot from Norse mythology as we're creating the different realms, but we've also added our own unique twists and inspiration to each of the realms, so the player is surprised each time they play through, with the added layer of Fimbulwinter and the upcoming war to add tension and build interest as the player plays through these different sections.
Vanaheim had very little kind of actual written mythology, but in our own kind of story, we've implemented the story of Skull and Hati and kind of the idea of the moon and the sun and other characters such as Freyr. Those were some physical, mythological elements that we could use to put into the environment to really help tell the player and anyone that's kind of paying attention, like, okay, this is Vanaheim.
Pretty much it originated from the concept art and the storyboards that the artists created in terms of coming up with unique visions for what a Vanaheim jungle could look like. So pieces showing sort of the thick jungle, the canopy. From those sort of visual cues, we basically lay out the player's journey through Vanaheim as it adheres to the narrative direction.
Vanaheim is extremely different than all the other realms that we visit.
Se golpe no lo
The grotto specifically, or the crater, where we actually get to see that world.
Fate will only bind you if you let it. Do what is necessary, not because it is written.
Vanaheim is very unique. Typically, a level would have like one main state where that state sort of determines the look and how things behave. Vanaheim, the realm features.
Eso es lo que yo les decía. ¿Cómo va?
So what that means is that all areas of the level, except for a small few, every area has two different states that are fully functional and determine, their behavior.
Implementing the day-night cycle kind of meant like, okay, what can we do with the plants? Can we make plants animate, or can we have a scene where you're there during the daytime, then you come back later and it's drastically different?
We have to make effects for the daytime and the nighttime, so that way they read on both levels. So in the daytime, it's a lot more subtle, but everything still reads well and feels natural. At night, we want, effects to kind of glow. You'll notice some plants will start having some nighttime glowing feel.
There's certain foliage or plant life that would be active. Different wildlife could be active. Enemies that the player may fight are tied to the time of day. And the way that Vanaheim is set up, the level can transition from one state to the other at a moment's notice. And that's particularly important once the player gets control of the time of day later on in the game.
Bueno, de hecho en directo lo hice como 3 veces, a puro cambiar
It was a very challenging under the hood to get all these parts to work correctly. Yeah, it was a very satisfying challenge to accomplish.
I don't know if you've ever been in a jungle before, but it gets pretty disorienting. So, whether it be day or night, you'll just get lost. And that's something that we've had to figure out how to help players get the direction they need. And again, adding the layer of the day versus night made it even extra challenging.
My priority, other than to make things beautiful and realistic, I also focus on how to make plays memorable, so it's not feel generic or repetitive, or for player to get lost easily. I would, let's say, put a very weird shaped rock on the side of the road, and so when player passes by, they will be like, oh, I remember that rock. Or put a massive root that comes out from the ground, and that will have some impact to player.
What we can do to help the player is kind of guide them through kind of environmental storytelling. We're also thinking about what other kind of elements can we put in there that can remind the player of the story, or of things that have happened, or maybe are foreshadowing things that are going to happen. If there's an enemy coming up that you've never encountered before, maybe there's some bones or some footprints on the ground or scratch marks, something to kind of indicate, something's coming that you weren't expecting.
Our environment team is amazing, so we just get to sprinkle in effects everywhere, and especially for Vanaheim, where it's such a new and jungly
Porque te llamas como el
place,
Doc Brown.
Really put in cool little insects and different type of things in the air, and I think the team really did well at bringing that to life. Just in general, Vanaheim is just one of those realms that people haven't seen yet, so I'm just kind of excited for people to go through there for the first time and just explore, because there's a lot in Vanaheim.
We're here.
You live in a tree?
Not in it. Below it.
Heavily! Look!
Having worked on the previous God of War game, on Freya's house and the forest
Cuando
and
volví a
surrounding
esta
areas,
weá.
I did spend a lot of time getting to know Freya's character, and on this game I did get to spend a lot of time with her there as well. So seeing her evolve from this character who is this humble, kind of secretive witch just living in the forest very peacefully, and then has her life kind of disrupted.
You must be better than this.
In the last moments of God of War 2018, what Kratos had done to Freya by killing her son.
He saved your life! He robbed me of everything!
We left off seeing Freya very angry and bitter towards Kratos, wanting revenge.
We are discovering Vanaheim along with Freya because she hasn't been back to the realm in a long time.
My village. I hardly recognize it. I used to play hide and seek with Freya in the crops. At harvest time, we'd dance and feast until the sun rose. Why did I have to come back here and be reminded of all this?
We want to show sort of the decline that the realm has suffered in her absence, sort of the heartbreak that she would feel when she revisits areas that were once vibrant, that have now succumbed to Odin's forces and their occupation of Vanaheim.
Esa escena es muy buena, weón.
You are not the one who needs to die.
You know, just in the environment art alone, you can see this realm used to be something much greater. Freya used to be someone much greater. She used to be a queen, but that's all but forgotten now. All you see are these strewn bits of stone and metal and everything just intertwined with the jungle environment.
We want to sort of visually tell that story and sort of communicate that kind of pain that maybe she would feel on discovering, you know, the destruction. But I think there's also a bit of like a redemption as well in terms of her finally coming back and trying to reclaim what was once under her rule, and then sort of showing some hope for the future in terms of her starting to mount a resistance against Odin.
I need a hero, como
seeing everything put together, seeing what environments did with all the creatures and the animals and the plant life.
My proudest moment with our game is just seeing all of it from start to finish coming to life. The people that worked so hard on it, they really worked hard to pull that world together, and it really shows in how fun it is, even how beautiful it is. Seeing what it became is really amazing to me.
When
designing a new realm, we definitely take player expectations into consideration, as we want to still surprise and delight the player by creating a new space that they have not seen before, but also still maintaining the high standard of quality that we've provided to them in previous realms.
It feels good to see, once everything is put together, how much impact it really has. The last time I played it, it's fantastic, and I think people will really enjoy it.
¿Cuándo sale eso?
People will really enjoy it.
¿Por qué hay otro trueno congelado y no es what? O hay una pelea secreta con Thor y yo no sé. O esa pelea también es que la caga.
A big part of the inspiration for this scene, at least the emotional through line of the scene, is it taps into some of the fears that we have as parents.
Oh, eso es lo que les decía yo. Es muy potente. Es muy potente esa escena. Helheim. I know.
The time draws near. You must prepare yourself.
For what? He's still eating. He wants to live.
He is dying.
I'm Matt Sofis. I'm the narrative director on God of War Ragnarok.
Hi, my name is Estelle Tigani, and I'm the cinematics producer on God of War Ragnarok.
My name is Bruno Velasquez. I am the animation director on God of War Ragnarok.
Hi, my name is Erica Pinto, and I'm the lead narrative animator on God of War Ragnarok.
It's my job to work with a cross-disciplinary group of really talented people to set the course, try to keep it on track, and then get out of the way to let people be great at their jobs.
The pipeline for a cinematic starts with the script phase. The writers on the narrative team will collaborate together and complete the script for a cinematic, and it will get reviewed by our game director, Eric Williams, before getting passed over to the cinematics team. My job on the cinematics team is to help guide the cinematics through the pipeline, track tasks, make sure everything is on schedule and on time.
I work very closely with many departments, including our visual arts service group and our cinematic arts group, and we work closely with them to develop the staging, the previs of our cinematics, and we go to the mocap shoots.
My role in God of War Ragnarok was to oversee all the animation direction across the entirety of the game. It was definitely a big challenge because this is one of the most ambitious games that we were done at the studio for sure.
Es que ahora no me da tanta penita porque sé después qué pasa. Pero me golpeó muy fuerte esa escena al principio.
Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the cinematics in our game, one that we called Fenrir Returns.
Kratos and Atreus have traveled to Helheim to fix a mistake that Atreus made while working for Odin. He ended up freeing Garm, the Hound of Hell. It led to a massive fight, and they ended up having to put Garm down. But they didn't do it in the conventional way that you'd expect from God of War. They didn't just kill Garm. Atreus ended up using a soul that was trapped in his knife.
Please work, please work, please work! I'm sorry!
We opted not to go with storyboards most of the time. The reason why is we have a no-cut camera. Storyboards are really good at showing between each cut, close, far away, but the hard work is mostly in how that no-cut camera is going to move around the scene. So instead we opt for Scene Bible or our pre-visualization phase.
On the last project, we discovered that previs was easiest to do when we were all together, able to shoot live action reference or get into mocap suits and shoot on stage. During COVID, we were all stuck at home. What we ended up doing was going back to more traditional previs where we would work directly in Maya. It took a lot more iteration and experimentation to make sure we got the timing where we thought it would be realistic when we got to the stage.
One of the big moments of this scene is to see what happens to Garm, and we encounter him inside this cave.
And the way that it's been set up, the lighting, the mood, the way that the camera is kind of creeping behind Atreus as he's creeping up on Fenrir is meant to communicate this sense of uneasiness and uncertainty about how this is going to go.
You're okay.
As Atreus approaches the cave, he's really hoping that the soul that Angerboda told him was in his knife was Fenrir's. He didn't know for sure.
Sorry I hurt you. It's over now. I promise.
So the biggest challenge for this scene was to really get the sense of that change of personality. So at first, you just finish this giant battle against Garm, and you're not quite sure if it's still a threat. This is why we chose to place him in that cave, you know, make it a little bit of like, oh, is he gonna leap out? Is he gonna attack us again? And of course, you know, Atreus, kind of recognizing him, kind of knowing his own pet, he's the one that kind of figures it out first. And slowly you see that transformation, that transition into Fenrir.
Fen? Are you?
Some of the aspects we really wanted to get right with the scene was selling that tension leading into kind of this relief and joy, seeing that Atreus's gamble paid off.
Boy!
So to bring Fenrir to life, there was a lot of research that went into it. Starting all the way back in 2018, we paid a visit to the Wolf Connection, which is a place where you can interact directly with actual wolves. We got a lot of footage of this and also learned a lot about actual wolf behavior, how it differs from dogs. For instance, when you approach a wolf, you're actually supposed to bring your hands underneath the wolf's head. Because Fenrir was more like a pet, we ended up not actually doing the underhanded approach.
Eso es imágenes de acción, ¿no?
Didn't know if that would work.
Where Atreus can tell that it's Fenrir when he comes out of the cave. This is the stretch of the scene where Kratos is realizing it himself.
We did it!
Working with the actors on stage, obviously we didn't have a giant 20-foot wolf.
So what we had to do is we had to have the actors interact with a puppet.
In this case, we actually had two puppeteers. We had someone holding a giant pad on a pole to represent kind of the scale of the dog that the actors could go up and work with. But for the camera view, we had this little virtual prop that could show on the screen the giant wolf, and then we would tilt it and see where is the giant wolf.
My favorite bit of this part of the scene is, of course, Kratos just simply saying sit, and then it immediately sits down with no hesitation.
Even the camera is getting into the action, and you hear the audio of the big kaboom, like a little earthquake.
The camera and the staging was able to really capture them as a family unit.
Tilting upwards to show such a large creature, but also keeping that focus on these two characters that are having a very intimate conversation between Kratos and Atreus. I think this is a really important moment because you've got that dog in the background that's kind of offsetting this more serious conversation. If you look, you'll see that Fenrir is just kind of like ping-ponging between them, which animals do.
Leading up to this moment, Kratos and Atreus have had a lot of tension where Kratos is trying to kind of hold on to Atreus, and Atreus needs to break away and form his own identity.
Oh, is this possible?
It's giant magic.
For Fenrir, we actually mostly did hand key, which means our animators would pose
and
move him around all themselves. Some other research we did, we ended up shooting reference footage with dogs.
Son pura referencia,
you know, when the wolf comes and kind of crawls towards Kratos and Atreus, is trying to nail that body mechanics.
And what we ended up doing, because of the different camera angles and the size of the wolf that we were going to represent in game, what we did is we ended up shooting from the camera perspective and the closeness that we needed to recreate in our scene, which presented itself as an amazing reference for our animators.
Right. For me, the most exciting part was once we got the wolf
No, la cagó, son preciosos.
data in and we started to hand key Fenrir a little bit more. You start to see his personality come forward and come to life. To me, that was a true joy.
We also really wanted to lean in finding natural behaviors that dogs and wolves do when he yawns and shakes himself, just really feeling all the fur, and we want to sell that this is something that's alive and not just a bunch of polygons on the screen.
Claro.
I think the most exciting thing about bringing this scene to life was just watching it go from this very rudimentary scene of just two guys sliding around in a horribly animated puppet wolf to something that feels believable, and you're just like, oh, Fenrir is such a good boy and he gets all the pets.
Los ojitos,
In Asgard.
This has nothing to do with that.
More secrets.
No. A promise. You ain't let someone's trusting me to keep. Like you kept your promise to Mom?
From a narrative perspective, what we wanted to achieve with this scene is to demonstrate the developing relationship between Kratos and Atreus and their building of trust towards each other.
Atreus is growing up and learning to become independent and make amends when he makes mistakes.
It's this wonderful little moment where Kratos realizes maybe that he doesn't have to worry so much anymore.
See what I can do when you trust me?
¿Y qué hace él después? Empieza a confiar, pues, güey.
Thank you for joining us as we broke down Fenrir Returns, one of many, many cinematics in God of War Ragnarok. And big thanks to everyone. There are hundreds of people who come together to make one of these possible.
Sometimes you have to fight battles, and it's how you fight those battles is what matters. And I think knowing that you don't have to go through it alone is important, and you can have people around you. And I think that's what Kratos and Atreus and everyone in this game kind of learns. My name is Gosur. I am the AI lead and the narrative tech design co-lead on God of War Ragnarok.
My name's Connor Radding Bland. I'm a narrative animator here at SMS.
Yeah.
I'm Andrew Loyola, or Aloy, as some of my coworkers know me as, and I'm a QA lead on God of War Ragnarok.
I'm Rajul Ramsundani. I'm a tech designer here at Santa Monica Studios.
As a narrative animator, usually my primary job is to work on the cinematics for the game. My primary responsibility is to manage the test coverage that goes into a game of its size.
I'm a technical designer, and what that entails is that we end up working on set pieces, little character moments around the level, gameplay mechanics.
It almost feels like we are building a puzzle together, but we are also building all the pieces from scratch. And as a lead, one of my biggest roles is making sure we deliver what we promised to deliver at the end.
Ready.
In the previous game, there was almost no family to start with. There was Kratos, who was afraid to show his true self because of her past trauma to his son, and we watched them kind of build that relationship as the game goes on, and we kind of got to a point where they were father and son at the end.
In this game, we've explored a lot about Atreus figuring out who he is, but he can't really do that without the people around him.
It starts with just Kratos and Atreus, and as they build their relationship, as they are becoming this duo who's always there for each other, they also bring in other people. They bring in Mimir, they bring in Brock and Sindri, and it's not just them. Like, as you go through the game, you see the Freyr fight, you see the Odin and his family.
Kratos tries to protect Atreus as best as he can through training, through being a literal shield for him. But Atreus wants to get out there and figure out what he needs to do on his own. And throughout the entire game, they're just butting heads on, I need to do this myself, or no, this is not our business. We need to protect ourselves.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general. No!
Odin's giving relationship probably is what attracted Atreus to work with him in the first place, despite knowing that Odin is the cause of many of the troubles of all of his other friends.
Feel free to come and go. Take what you need, poke around as you please. You're not my prisoner. And more importantly, I'm not your father.
Odin is more hands-off. Odin kind of sends him on missions, and he lets Atreus go out and about.
I just wish Atreus were not so restless.
That separation and Atreus being away for a while kind of also allows Kratos to learn that sometimes being overly protective is not always good. You need to give some space to your kids so that they can figure out who they are. And I think that's a very good change for Atreus in the beginning, because he feels like this is someone, letting me do my own thing.
But we kind of figure out later on that Odin is only warm up until a point when your usefulness has run out. And that's when we see his true colors, and Atreus kind of realizes that everything that Odin has given him, while maybe useful, is a facade.
Thor was really great. I learned a lot from him.
You learned something from him? Really now? Okay. What did you teach the kid?
Nothing. What could I possibly teach him?
Exactly.
Found family as a theme started back in the first God of War in the Norse series. Mimir, towards the end of the last game, mentions that we couldn't really do it without help from Brock and Sindri and you, Atreus, and you, Kratos.
The concept of found family means a lot to me, because all my family and my friends that I grew up with are back in Turkey. It was just me and my husband for a very long time.
I think a lot of what this game talks to is about accepting each other and realizing that the people around you can be your family.
We've gone through that. We've built our families through my coworkers in the studio who are my friends now. And I think that is what's happening in this game too.
Whether it's Kratos, Mimir, and Atreus and Angrboda, or Brock and Sindri being your weird uncles, it's about accepting each other for who we are and realizing that those characters are all that they've got.
Well, come on then. Let's get him something that fits at least.
Kratos, he calls Mimir by his name instead of calling him Head.
See?
That is a huge step up. He guides Kratos and Atreus pretty faithfully throughout the entire game, trying to see past their faults and challenging them whenever they have pretty poorly formed ideas. Kratos welcomes a lot of the help that Sindri and Brock offer without too much challenge. There's that found family and that growth of trust that we see throughout the entire game, a lot more than we did on the first God of War in the Norse series.
Well, don't go getting too cheery about it.
But
With how Atreus' relationship is with Kratos in the beginning of the game and kind of how it develops in the first half, he starts to notice that Atreus and Sindri become close. As Atreus kind of separates from his father, Sindri almost sort of becomes this other different father figure that's giving him advice and helping him out in a way that maybe Kratos would not do.
Sí.
As Atreus and Sindri form a strong bond, Kratos and Brock actually get to build a bond together. I find that pairing interesting because I think you get to learn a lot about Brock. Sindri and Brock, they're separated for pretty much most of the game, and then coming into God of War Ragnarok, they're together, and they sort of let go of their past quarrels, and you really get to see that they've built a strong relationship.
You mean we combine it with?
That's right.
And then when it'll go. Damn you, that's brilliant. Very well.
The realm between realms is where Brock and Sindri live, generally a safe haven for Kratos and Atreus.
Player agency is something that we really care about in the realm between realms, whether it's getting a side quest from Ratatasker or just accounting for the various player behaviors. You know, when you walk close to a companion that's hanging around in the house, whether it's the shop or Brock or Tyr just hanging around waiting for his food or Atreus sitting in his room. We want you to feel like you stumble upon specific character moments.
This place is great, Sindri. You built it all yourself?
You know it.
Showing their personality as much as possible in these spaces to the player. So the animation teams kind of have to make sure that what they do is very much in character.
Entonces cuando dice voy a hacer una mesa más grande.
In very much detail and making sure we have the tech to do so.
Being locked up for so long, you forget how much joy lives in the little things.
Another relationship that I think is interesting is the relationship between Kratos and Freya. Last game, you see them build this relationship, and you even see Atreus look up to her as almost a mom. Now, at the beginning of this game, you have a very angry Freya chasing you. But through the course of the game, you kind of see them work through that and mend broken relationships and kind of come back stronger.
I do not regret saving your life, and never will. But the choice between life and death should have been yours to make. I should not have robbed you of that choice.
So you got Freya, and then you have her brother, Freyr.
We sold my sister to that prick. We broke it a piece. Oh. Did you now? Where is it?
The key element between those two is when Freya left to be with Odin, they separated.
Freya, as we know from the previous game, went to go marry Odin as a potential solve to the Aesir-Vanir War, and Freyr was left to pick up the pieces. On one hand, Freyr was dealt a bad hand. He wasn't a natural leader like Freya was, and kind of blamed her for a lot of the hard times that he fell upon. Both of them thought they were trying to do the right thing, and the other thought that it wasn't the right thing to do.
In this game, you kind of find out that Freya felt abandoned by Freyr, and you get to see those two come together and be a strong family again.
Abandon you? Oh, Freya. I mourned you. Oh, I've missed you so much.
Like how Kratos and Atreus rely on their found family throughout the entire game, the people and development team at Santa Monica Studio were all there to support each other and really make the best game that we can make.
Este es Goti.
Across the world, essentially, to a different country, and you end up being away from family a lot of the times, and your friends become your family. I think that's something I've hopefully have helped relate in the game as well.
You know, I've really grown to love the narrative animation team here. It feels exciting that we're all kind of coming together to create this awesome game.
With all the relationships in the game, I think the biggest lesson is everybody has room to grow and room to write their own destiny.
Life takes you through different paths, and sometimes you go through struggles, and how you go through them is important. And I think the family that you build around yourself, it would be there to fight those battles with you.
Me gustaría ver a Truth con el Mjolnir, weón. Es que Odin se lo tira y la manda a la mierda, weón. Ella perfectamente podría levantarlo.
That sounds like God of War.
A las reacciones.
We've really been trying to hone in on something here at the studio, which is this idea that we're fans of our fans.
Ooh, script writing is so good.
It's a really powerful statement because we are only able to make these things because of our fans. It's just all those little things that you do out there, all the tweets, the Reddit posts, the videos, the reactions.
Thank you, video games, for being my one saving grace. You don't know how sad things have been lately. I'm ready to play. Let's go.
There's so much positivity that can be had from games, and I think when our team gets that, it just energizes us to want to do even better and put out something that's just magical.
Muy buena, ¿verdad? Cuando hacen el trono congelado, weón. Esa pelea es épica, weón. Es muy buena cuando le chanta el cornete a Thor. Weón, mis felicitaciones a los sonidistas, weón, a todos, porque es como en Hajime no Ippo, que tú sentís que weón le pega un cornete así, pero con toda la weón, weón, así. De hecho, weón termina gritando, weón. Pero se la
This
chanta.
final portion of the interview is like a fan thank you, right? So I want to say, on behalf of the studio, on behalf of myself, thank you for playing God of War.
No,
I really
maravilloso.
hope you guys enjoy playing the game as much as I enjoy animating on it.
Your passion and just overall excitement about these titles keep us going. We know, especially over the last few years, how important our time is and how valuable that is, and any time that you give to anything that we work on is just, we're so grateful for it.
I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but we can't do this without you. We can't thank you enough for being huge fans of the series.
We all pour so much of ourselves into this game. It's not just a job for us. And knowing that there's an audience out there that supports us and gives so much of themselves right back to us, it makes the hard work so much easier.
Your enthusiasm is felt by me and the team every single day. We have a big team, we have big goals, we have a high quality bar. And every day,
Es como el Corey Farlow cuando le dijeron que God of War había llegado a ser el primer, que había roto el récord Guinness de no sé qué wea. Y el Corey Farlow, se puso a llorar. Así como, bueno, y el gallo lo dijo cuando lo premiaron, así como, bueno, tanto sangre, sudor y lágrimas, y ver que a la gente le encantó, es como, bueno, sabes que es lo más emocionante que te puede pasar. Sí, la acabó.
can take a moment and bring up some YouTube videos.
Eso faltó, escudo Capitán América.
Those moments when I started to feel a little bit low, I would go look to social media and Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and just kind of start seeing all the excitement out there, how people could not wait for this game, and it would renew my energy in ways that I never thought possible.
Every now and then, game development gets really hard, as I've said and as you probably know, and I'll go outside and I'll be wearing my God of War shirt or my God of War jacket, and somebody will be like, oh my gosh, is that God of War? I can't wait for Ragnarok. And a great conversation is sparked, and it really is the fuel that I need to keep going, because knowing that people are truly excited for this game is really cool.
For 4 years after the release of the last game, that these characters still resonate with you and you want to see more of it, it really inspires us to try and deliver to you something that is meaningful, but also is just fun as hell to play.
To see every time we post some news or there's a bit of fandom out there, and just the reaction on social media and amongst the community, it kept us going, and it certainly kept me going to want to continue to finish this game.
Algún día voy a estar ahí, voy a salir yo haciendo cuando me pasen los juegos, las empresas, algún día.
Game out and make it the best game.
I have the great privilege of being able to share your works and your words with the team here. I get to see, the smiles on their faces once they see some of your fan art, the cosplays, and incredible works that you guys have put together. It really reminds me how incredibly special the God of War community is.
We see your tweets, we see your fan art, we see your reaction videos, and those are the things that keeps us going. And I hope when you play this game,
Magnus.
The thought and the care, and the passion and the blood and the sweat that was poured into this game.
When I've had a long day, the best pick-me-up, I'll pop on one of those YouTube videos and just see the enthusiasm and love that you all have for the characters, and it just lifts me up and keeps me going. I can't thank you enough. I love you.
I know it's been a long time coming, but you are really what keeps us going, especially through the end of this project.
To all the fans out there, thank you for playing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for covering my themes on YouTube. Keep them coming. Dude, there's people like heavy metal and like cello and flute, like a bunch of stuff.
I personally love watching all the Let's Plays and reaction videos. Like, we all watch them and share them around the office.
just hearing about how much they enjoyed God of War 2018 and how excited they are for Ragnarok, seeing the different cosplays that they've been doing.
Oh, bueno,
es
un cosplay.
And just hearing people buzz and talk about what's going to be happening in this next game has really kept me going and kept me inspired and trying harder to deliver on that.
Seeing so many positive energies in the community throughout the fans, and that really brings me back to the motivation of keep moving forward and making this game awesome.
The outpouring of fan excitement and celebration of the accessibility features motivates us to keep on going.
It just shows how wide-reaching accessibility is, and this game will now make it so a ton of new players can pick up a Leviathan axe for the first time and feel what it means to be a God of War. And that's phenomenal.
What makes my job rewarding is being able to make something that so many people feel a connection to.
This looks so good.
Es como manejar la Leviatán, que tú sentís Tú cuando manejáis el hacha Leviatán, tú sentías ese poder como el de Thor, de que como les decía yo, que tú tiráis la mano. Por eso a mí me encantaba cuando jugaba el tirar el hacha a la mierda, ponte tú. Porque yo hacía lo mismo que hacía Thor en las películas, ponte tú. Y de repente, bueno, el weón peleaba a cornete o con la mayor cantidad de recursos a las que podía acceder. Pero ya cuando había problemas era como, ven acá. Y esa sensación es de que tienes el control absoluto de tu arma y que la puedes... O sea, esa sensación de que tienes que... La puedes tirar y no tienes que ir a buscarla. ¿Cachai? Es como, pa, ¿cachai? Mira, y pensándolo mejor, cuando vi la opción esa que mostraron en la animación de que el escudo también podía regresar, yo dije, no, ¿sabes qué? Está bien como lo dejaron. Porque hubiesen sido dos objetos para tirar y como que no, me funciona mejor con el hacha Leviatán. Pero bueno, ese momento cuando Kratos estaba a punto de tomar el Mjolnir, bueno.
Able to feel a connection to the characters and the story, that is what gives my job,
Hay muchas cosas ocultas todavía en ese juego.
その感謝に応える以上の可能性を秘めたゴッド・オブ・ウォー・ラグナロクですので、本当にぜひぜひたっぷりこの親子の神話をご堪能ください。
Before God of War Ragnarok, I was a huge fan of this series myself, and God of War was actually the reason I wanted to pursue a career in character art. So being here, being part of this, and seeing how supportive the fans are, and how great of a community God of War has nurtured, it makes it all, great impact for us, and very motivating for all of us as game developers.
It's seeing the reactions of people as they experience this journey with us that really keeps us going. There's a lot of excitement that we felt throughout the entire development process, and while it was long, a lot of the fans, their excitement kept us going. So thank you for helping us be motivated to see it to the end.
Damn! Oh my god! We're back to Helheim!
Ya, pero eso para hacer una video reacción te tiraste como 3 rayas encima,
اللي فات واستعدوا لحاجات كتير قوي ومفاجآت كتير قوي في الإصدار الجديد. プレイヤーの諸君、君たちに感謝する。ありがとう。
Thank you all for your support and excitement surrounding God of War Ragnarok. I can't wait for you to play the game.
Escuchamos a Kratos japonés, weón.
Muchas gracias a todos mis amigos de Latinoamérica y de España y de todos los lugares donde se habla español. Les agradezco mucho por ser aficionados de God of War.
Y toda la razón, Sande, cuando tú decís que
estoy muy contento que ya
qué gran diversidad.
Okay? Gracias.
To the fans, I just want to give a big thank you
Este es el mejor apellido de todos.
Support and enthusiasm for this game and this franchise. I really hope that you love what we've crafted for you.
I'm gonna cry.
I never take for granted how much you all invest in us, in our story, in our characters, and I'm incredibly thankful that you turned out to play this game and talk about it. Just thank you. I appreciate it.
Like the thing I've been telling the team the whole time is that we're kind of building a blanket.
Los memes.
I stop back to
Los memes de God of War son muy
when I would
buenos.
play games. I had these moments, these really strong moments that I remember like gaming, and they were usually when something like bad happened or You just needed kind of escape from what the world was giving you at the time, and it always felt like you're curling up with a blanket and like watching a good movie or listening to a record or a book or something like that. And I really wanted the team to get behind this concept of like, we're building a blanket for you all to like curl up with us, go on this adventure, and just like have a good time with us, be entertained, and maybe think about a couple things while we're in there, like we'd like to have those heartfelt stories that we all go through, and it's just like,
por ejemplo, yo esto lo he comentado, mira, falta súper poco.
Make it very relatable. Our fans are everything, like we can't do it without you, so we wanted to make something that was memorable in that way.
I just wanted to thank all of you for taking the time out of your days to let us know how you feel and have felt about this extraordinary journey.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
To all the fans out there that support us here at Santa Monica, thank you so much. Thank you so much for going on these adventures with us.
Obrigado a todos vocês que jogaram esse game. Chokra.
As they say in Old Norse, tak.
Obrigado.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Can't thank you enough.
Thank you for hyping me up when I need it the most.
Thank you.
Qué pedazo de juego, qué buen documental. Qué buen documental, hermoso documental. Play 4 y Play 5. Pero yo, por ejemplo, de este juego rescato tantas cosas, y yo creo que es un juego que llegó, yo creo que en el momento justo en mi vida, te podría decir. ¿Cacha la volada que me voy a pegar? Porque si hay unas cosas, o sea, hay muchas cosas que rescato de Ragnarok, pero de esta saga en particular, como dicen, de la saga del norte y de la saga de Ragnarok, ya lo he adoptado casi como un mantra. Es como, bueno, no hay excusas, sé mejor. Que es la frase que tiene Kratos. Y ¿sabéis qué? Es una cuestión que a mí me encantó del juego. El juego me enseñó, me está enseñando a mí también que, bueno, ya no importa. No importan las excusas, no importa, bueno, mejora. Sé mejor, pues, weón. ¿Cachai? Porque se puede mejorar. Todos la cagamos. Atreus la cagó. Bueno, Atreus, como dice Mimir en el mismo juego, te mandaste, liberaste la super mierda cuando le dicen que soltaron a Gar, creo que se llama el perro del infierno, y aún así Kratos llega y los para a todos porque están todos encima de Atreus, y le dice, bueno, cálmense, se acabó la weá, Atreus cometió un error, vamos a arreglarlo, o sea, vamos a ser mejores, po, weón. ¿Cachai? No tiene por qué dar excusas, la cagó. Vamos a arreglarlo, po, weón. ¿Por qué? Porque podemos arreglarlo y podemos ser mejores, po, weón. ¿Cachai? O sea, es todo un aprendizaje el juego, además. Entonces, por eso les digo que es mucho, más que una aventura y un videojuego, es como decía el gallo al final. Es como un libro, es como cuando tú te sumerges también en una historia. No, el juego de por sí es redondito. Así que, cabros, pausa técnica para abrir Fortnite. Gracias, Sandy, gracias por el docu. Me encantó, está muy bueno. Terminamos hoy día el juego. De hecho, está subido ahí en la página de YouTube. De hecho, hay un link para que puedan ahí. Hay un botoncito en ¿cuánto se llama? Mi espalda. Hay un botoncito ahí en Twitch y ustedes apretan y si se perdieron algún capítulo de God of War, están todos subidos ahí en YouTube, como le digo yo. Así que ahora vamos a abrir vamos a empezar a abrir esta locura. Yo creo que no me va a saltar el tema de la música con el copyright. Yo encuentro que no. I hope not. Pero. Espérate, vamos a poner un poquito de música para amenizar. Así como para amenizar la cosa. Vamos a poner los Technotronic y nos vamos a la mierda. ¿No? Pero, a ver, tiene que haber algo bueno, bonito. Oye, alta cagada que quedó con el cierre de Multiversus, weón. Ah, no, ese no. Ahí sí. Entonces ahora vamos a esperar. Vamos a hacer acá. Ya. Pongo F y te apuesto que sale. Puta, obvio. ¿Qué piensan ustedes de God of War, los que lo pudieron jugar? ¿Les gustó? ¿No les gustó? ¿Les falta una tercera entrega? Yo diría que sí. Yo de puro caliente, weón. De puro caliente saber qué pasa después en la historia o cómo llegamos a... Ojo, va a ser pseudo spoiler, pero los que terminaron el juego van a cachar. Pasará o sea, yo quiero ver cómo pasa lo que está en el mural. Lo que está en el mural que ve Kratos. Quiero ver cómo pasa eso. Y de hecho, podría haber una eventual, aunque ya lapidaron esto y dijeron que no, pero siempre los morlacos son los que mandan, así que si la gente hace una oferta y demanda, podría efectivamente funcionar el que haya otra parte de God of War, pues, perfectamente. Y de hecho, nos podemos dar cuenta de que pueden haber no solamente Odín, bueno, es que el problema es que Odín era como es el padre de todo, o sea, básicamente es como que te partiste piteándote a Zeus, ¿cachai? Pero no sé si se dieron cuenta que Freya empieza a preguntar por una valquiria rebelde, me parece que era. Bueno, capaz que esté hasta en el mismo juego y ya lo resolvieron. Pero ¿cómo se llama? O derechamente ya como Kratos cayendo a Egipto, no sé, ya no sé qué mitología podría... O peleando contra Jebus, weón, así, Jebus con la cruz, así... ¡Jesus Cristo! Y le tira así un... Pero ¿por qué? Qué chucha, weón. Eso, los efectos colaterales de ver el Spider-Man japonés. A ver. Puta, no lo puedo invitar. No, están todos en otra. Bueno, será a solo. Será solitario. No, Chip. Chip. Hay que usar no. Es de puro combustible porque no voy a comprar nada, pero es como pasar a vitrinear. Ya. Ah, dejaron a tope Tenga que nadie lo compró, por eso lo tiraron al tope, bueno. Metallica no lo puedo poner por derechos de autor. Ya, pusieron puros bailes, weón. ¡No! Me da risa cuando se da vuelta, weón. Como que las patas se le hacen como raras. Ahora cuando damos la vuelta. Ahí. Está muy bueno El gatito. Ah, ya. No. Igual está piola. Ah, puta, ahí con la espalda la cagaron, weón. El tocomple. Aguante. ¿Y los bracitos? Bracito embutido. No. No, bracito embutido. Bueno, hay pura gente comida, loco. Hero Academy. Let's fight. Toda la muerte con cuchillos, vamos. Uy, están dando esta weá. Pero mira ese milagro. Bueno, no voy a decir nada. No voy a decir nada. Mejor no digo nada y me quedo callado. Por ahí en una de esas jugamos otra cosita. En una de esas. Si no se nos hace tan tarde, podríamos jugar otra cosita, incluso en la Play. Algo cortito, no sé, un fighter o algo. Pero veamos si esto anda bien. Que no debería por qué andar mal. Permiso. Planta baja. Esto es como Yamchas. No, es que estoy picado. Tengo que ir al reino de los enanos a buscar al guerrero que no pude ganarle con Freya, weón. Qué picado con esa weá, weón. Qué picado. Lo que me temo es que ahora capaz que lo reviento porque debo estar más OP, weón. Por la cuestión de la armadura y todos los upgrades que le hice al hacha y a todas las armas, weón. Yo creo que me duraría poquito. ¡Opa! Ya. Vamos a aplicar mística. A falta de tirones de internet. ¿Qué mata? Deploy. Estoy en rojo. Deploy. Shit. Vamos, hermanito, sigue hablando tan bien de ti. Vamos. Esto va a ser muerte por lag, parece. Duelo a muerte con lag. Ya empezamos ya. Tan rápido. So soon. So soon. Pensé que no se había cagado, güey. Ah, concha tu madre, está bueno ahí. Esta hueá para variar no voy a alcanzar, weón. Ching. Babling. No. Tenemos que salir de acá. Ya, pues ahora no. Para. Fuck. Ah, me está jodiendo muerte por lag. No, pues bueno. Ya, pues no empiezan los tirones, weón. Ni comparado como estuvo anoche, weón. Anoche esta wea volaba, loco. Chucha, ya, po. Afloja un poco. Duelo a muerte con lag. No, back. Maldición. God damn it. Ah. Está jodiendo que estancado, weón. ¡Agarra el huevo! No, yo te apuesto que estoy muerto. Cagué. ¡Muévete! Ah, cagué, estoy muerto. Bueno, estoy muerto. Muerte por lag. Es justo un 20, weón. Ya, lo siguiente andará mejor, supongo. Supongo. ¿Qué pasa, Lucky? Como nunca, estamos rompiendo la idea. No vino nadie.
Sandy y papitas. Said. No soy nadie, XD.
No, pero me refiero a que, no sé, pues antes teníamos 5, 8, 10 de repente. Y ahora estamos los dos nomás. No hay nadie más. Estamos los dos nomás. Bueno, y no sé si la petita cuenta como... Si cuenta como... Uy, me dieron ganas de ir al baño. Oh, pobre de mí, como diría MacLeod. Oh, pobre de mí. Pero esta cuestión ya la lancé, pues, bueno, entonces me voy a tener que... va a ser Extreme.
Sandy y papitas. Said.
Dime.
Loki, Philly y Lily.
Loki, Philly y Lily. Acá está, no sé, separa. No, tú cachai que yo tengo estos ventiladores chiquititos, los fans. Los que son con... Y se pone... Le da como ponerse atrás de los ventiladores. No sé cuál es... Bueno. Michi, pues, weón. Es wea de Michi. Y sí, definitivamente me estoy resfriando, weón. Pero quiero ir al baño. Baño. Eso puedo hacer. Voy a hacer una cosa. Voy a cerrar el... Porque como estamos nosotros nomás, voy a cerrar el Discord por si acaso. Para ver si agarramos un poquito más de potencia ahí. Porque como total no estamos los que estamos acá nomás. Estamos los que estamos, solo los que estamos. Ya. Y como suena ese ventilador así grosero. Loki, Philly y la Trinidad. Pero me cago en toda la... Funciona. Funciona. Ya. Pasamos a mi cortina favorita. Vamos. Podí funcionar la reconcha de tu puta madre. Mira que no te estoy pidiendo nada, hermano. Funciona. Nada más. ¿Cómo pudiste haber Mira, de haber sabido que funcionaba bien de una, weón, no hubiese jugado más veces, weón. Y lo hubiese guardado hoy día. No, pero no. Puta, la weá no funciona, weón. Odio cuando las weas no funcionan. Momento BTR. Y ahora yo voy a hacer el cambio de pantalla y me voy a ir a la mierda. Puta madre, weón. Oh, qué asco, weón. Y no está conectando, o sea, parece que nos fuimos a la vez, weón. ¿Seguimos en directo? ¿A todo esto? ¿Estamos vivos?
Sandí papitas. Side. Chi.
Chi. Ya, entonces. Ah, nos fuimos a la vez. Mire, cabros, confirmado. Ay. Ah, ya, vamos bien. Entonces lo que hay que comprar es todo lo de Rex. Le digo Rex, pero en el fondo... Ah, Thunder. No, ¿cómo se llama este weón? Thunder. Que para mí es Reptile con la chaqueta de Smoke Criminal, o sea, de Thriller, weón. Esto es un... Ah, ya. Bueno, me llevaré... Tengo 6, me llevaré 2 de los de 3, porque si no me queda nada. Mi glider. Ya, intentamos una. Si la conexión falla, nos vamos a la mierda. Están todos sin conexión, weón. Sin conexión, sin conexión, sin conexión. Probemos, capaz que se cayeron todos, pues, weón. En una de esas. Y si no, sabéis que podríamos jugar Kakarot, weón. Me iría a jugar un Kakaroto. Porque estábamos en la saga Los Saiyajin y creo que quedamos en la pelea con Vegeta. O con Nappa era. O los dos, no me acuerdo. No me acuerdo en qué quedó esto. ¿Verdad que es viernes? Dioses del internet. Denme un poco de su poder. Todos denme un poco de internet. Orewa, internet. Era buena esa temporada cuando estaban los Helicarrier, weón. Y estaban los Jetpack. Esa temporada era muy buena.
Sandí papitas. Side.
Dime, corazón.
Pon Technotronic para que te dé poder.
No, pero es que si pongo Technotronic tengo que borrar el episodio, pues. No. Tendría que matar todo lo que he hecho. No, esto parece que ya no va a funcar. No, ya... Parece que la vez que corrió, y corrió perfecto, fue la vez. No, y no hubo más. O como diría Peligro, la hora. Es la hora en la que todos están ocupando internet, pues, bueno, para poner música, para todo. Por lo menos que hay en el... ¡Oh! Ya, vamos a hacer mística en razón de la...
Sandy y papitas. Side. Es una vez por semana que funciona XD.
Es como los capítulos de la serie, tenés que jugar una vez por semana. Escuché que hay. Fuck. Se me cortó este sonido, hermano. Capaz que me boté esta wea. Qué puñetero asco. ¿No hay un perk para que funcione mejor esta vez? Okay. Damn. Sonic. Huevito. Dale, dale, chollo. Duro, duro, chollo. Can me work. ¡Ja! Obviamente. We got him. ¿Murió? Oh, cuidado, super lag. Epa, para. Oh, Martín, quita power. I know it. Push it to the limits. No me vayan a ver, weón. Ya, pues no te pegué ahora. Por favor. Extra huevonario. Voy a guardar esa huevón. Un show más. Qué buen programa, weón. No, yo creo que me voy a ir al límite. Ahí. Ya, pues. Puta, en una de esas caí muerto. No sé. Ya. Ay, muévete. Muévete. Ay, qué enfermante. Oh, fuck. El red pone el asado. Ya. Oh shit, yeah. Time to hunt or be hunted. Se agacharon a alguien ahí. Epa. Hubo fondeo. Ya, somos 5. Última jugada. Shohoku va abajo por 2 puntos. No. Máximo esfuerzo, vamos. No te la guíes ahora. Menos ahora. Please work. Please work. Puta, ¿por qué me tinca que hay un weón allá? ¡Vamos! Y con la que todo, perras. Ahí tienen.
6. Victoria incluso con la Getty.
Tráeme mi victoria con... That was nice. That was fucking nice. Mandado su dimensión correspondiente. ¿Una más? No, yo igual son 3 horas. It's way too much. Aunque yo una vez... ¿Cuál fue el directo más largo? Creo que fueron como 6 horas. ¿6 horas fueron o no? ¿O fueron las 5 horas de God of War? Eso es lo que no me acuerdo. Y ahí es donde me salta la duda, tío. Igual me jugaría un Fighter, así como que igual cerraría streaming y me iría al ladito a jugar un ratito Fighter. Dragon Baru.
Sandy y papitas. Sai. Se te van a caer los dedos.
No, por eso entreno, para que no se me caigan los dedos ni los brazos. Ni nada, que no se caiga nada. Mientras no duela la pierna o la espalda, estamos vamos. No, aparte que se nota que ya la conexión no... Al menos de Fortnite no da, pero saqué primero con todo. ¿Y qué me dieron? Nada. Me dieron un brillo. Un brillito. A ver, ¿qué podríamos? Pues espérame tantito. Igual y podríamos jugar Destiny. O Car Rider. El Car Rider Drift, no, o Rocket League, ¿no? Porque, a ver, dejadme pensar. Coño, joder. No, ya fue mucho para el cacha, pues si le está costando hasta salir, no. Entonces vuelvo a abrir el Discord y si el Trepsicolana está ahí por ahí, hermano. Está vivo, maluco. Porque en una de esas para jugar unos Rockets no estaría malo. Aunque igual... ¡Oh! Ya sé. Pero tengo que buscar cuál. Ya se me Illuminati. Illuminati, pues, wow, whooping up, why you feeling it? I'm jumping out. I want to stand here like that. A ver. Calmado, que estoy en sección. En sección. ¿Qué mierda hacemos? Ya, tengo algo ahí listo. Perfecto. Vamos a poner algo como para amenizar la cuestión. No tan fuerte, no tan fuerte. No, cálmate, coño, cálmate, eso. A ver. Puta que estuvo bueno el documental. Me encantó. Sandy, el documental, me encantó. Aparte que tenía toda la razón en el tema de que hay una diversidad increíble en el equipo de trabajo del mismo juego. Entonces igual es como, mira, igual fue cuático. Es que hay un juego que es de Batman, pero es que no sé, I got a feeling about that.
Sandy y papitas.
Dime, corazón.
Sai. Estaba bueno, y hablaron de todo un poco.
Sí. Hablaron hasta del anterior. Hablaron hasta de las primeras entregas, o sea, ya... A la mierda, Jarringi. A ver. Juguemos algo chill, busquemos algo que sea piolita. Es como jugando Dark Souls. Entonces, no, algo piolita, relajante. Dark Souls. Habría que ser muy idiota, güey. Pero es que este no era el de movie, po. No. Oye, ¿existe categoría para esta weá o no? Oh, ya. A ver si existe la categoría. Veamos. Mutant. Y existe, concha tu madre, weón. Ya, vamos a jugar X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. I already decided. Vamos a jugar cortito, sí. Nada serio. Nothing too serious. Vamos allá. Vamos a hacer que run the game. Pum. Está cargando. Eso, lo agrandamos aquí. Lo pasamos para acá. Y pim pam pum. Tenemos un jueguiño, pero... ¡ay, de puta madre! Afírmense que este es el juego de los X-Men. Es el juego de los X-Men. Ah, no, verdad que... Soylock. A ver si me acuerdo, man. Voy a jugar a la pura memoria, No. Me acuerdo. Y esa patada que era... ya. Got it. Crap. ¿Dónde está el golpe, weón? ¡Pero salta! Pump the jump. Fuck me. Wolverine. X-Men, go and save the city. Oh, el tema que me encantaba era el de Cíclope, weón. Qué buenísimo. No tengo el healing factor del personaje, así que tiene que ser así nomás. Agárrate. Ha! Piece of cake. Who's next? A ver si me acuerdo si era acá. Acá era. Este era el jefe. Ahí llegué, bueno. A ver si me acuerdo. No. Logan, muévete. Pam. Mira, por lo menos. Mission complete. Con Gambit tampoco me acuerdo, weón. Beast lo ocupaba muy poco, weón. Jugamos la de Wolverine, la de Cyclops, porque me jugaba. ¡Ah! Me gustaba la música. ¡Oh! Ay, idiota, me tiré yo de cabeza, weón. Me pedí. Puta que son generosos, weón. En la serie de los 90 me acuerdo, me encantaba el sonido de Cíclope cuando disparaba, weón. Porque se sentía que era como un cañonazo así, pero súper potente, weón. Que de hecho lo era, pero estaba tan bien logrado el efecto de sonido que me iba a volar la raja. Pero bueno, dejen pararme. Right, forget it. Game over. Hay un juego que no sé si estará. No, no es ese. Es tampoco. No. Next one. Oh, ese juego era acuático. Capitán Subasa tenía juego. ¿Dónde? Oh, mira. Este parece que me acuerdo cómo era este, weón. Sandy, ¿cachaste? A ver si... Es que deja ver si corre la verdad. Se ve con la media pegada, weón. Ya, pues, no, que no decaiga, que no decaiga. A ver si es el que me acuerdo yo, weón. Porque capaz que... Porque hay de estos juegos de Storyteller y un montón de... Déjenme cachar si era este. Ya, pues. Yo creo que cacharnos, se escucha el sonido, pero... Ya, pues. Quiero adelantar todo. No es. Puta la wey. Pensé que sí era, weón. No, nada que ver. Son como de estos storyteller, weón, que son una paja con ruedas, weón. Oye, pero me extrañó el que estuviese la categoría del Mutant Apocalypse, weón. Así como, what? Are you for sure? Are you fucking joking me? Ese yo-yo, no, ese de peleas claramente. Ya se me guaneó la página, weón. Si eso es lo malo, podéis jugar, pero podéis jugar un rato y como que después le baja toda la embolia. Y que hay, pero... Mega wea. Espérate,